course, I said, pardon? I was in shock. I said, pardon? In England, they're still saying things like, pardon? Are you calling them knickers as well? So stupid over there, the things they say. Yeah, put it in the boot. You call a flashlight a torch. like it's 1512. A torch. Yeah, you know that thing that burns that you use to navigate caves and old citadels? You call a modern flashlight a torch. Are you okay? Anyways, back to Susie Johnson's shocking revelation that she's the undead. Let's keep reading and find out if she started groaning brains, and then ate the hospital staff. Ooh, this could be juicy. Okay, she said, pardon. And then they put something on the computer so I could have the scan, and then they just said bye, and that's it. Oh my goodness, do they still have you listed as dead? You might want to get to the bottom of this, Mrs. Johnson. Okay, so she was told by her GP that the mistake had been fixed. She wasn't dead anymore. However, when she contacted the Department for Work and Pensions, she was informed that on their computer, she was dead. Susie Johnson over the phone said, I'm not dead, I'm still talking to you. This woman needs to be quiet. She is dead and should start acting like it. She's speaking way too much. Susie Johnson said, well, you know, after I heard this second time I was dead on the computer, I shut down completely. I didn't talk or anything. That's exactly how a dead body should act. So good for you. Start acting like it. You're dead, clearly, Susie Johnson. Says here, although Susie's benefits have all since been reinstated, Mrs. Johnson is still unclear as to how the mistake happened and who was responsible for this. She said, quote, it was very hard. There was no one to talk to. Yeah, that's what it's like when you're dead. There's no one to talk to. You're dead. What did you think dead was like? There's going to be all these people to talk to? It's not a social activity, Susie Johnson. Says here, Mrs. Johnson is now concentrating on her hobbies of gardening and knitting now that she's alive. She wants to move on with her life, but she still wants answers, it says. I need to find out why it happened, how, and by whom. And that person, whoever has pressed the button, shouldn't be working wherever they are. Whoever pressed the button. Whoever pressed the dead button made me dead. And I'm so sorry. I'm choking. Whoever pressed the button. This is so funny. Whoever pressed the dead button. Yeah, you got to keep people's fingers away from the dead button unless you are dead. All right. So she's finally marked alive and all is well in the world. I want to give this story a Monty Python ending, though. They fixed the issue, but rather than jump through bureaucratic hoops to change her status to alive from dead, they found it easier to kill her. A fisherman who thought his friend was trying to feed him to Bigfoot is convicted of murder. The story's out of Oklahoma, where there is a gross lack of brain cells, unfortunately. They're out there believing in Bigfoot. They're murdering their friends over Bigfoot beliefs, it would seem. This man claimed he killed his friend because he believed the victim was summoning Bigfoot to murder him. So, I don't know, you could summon a Bigfoot. How do you summon a Bigfoot? Anybody know? Is there a mating call for Bigfoot? There probably is. It probably sounds like something like this. What do you think of that one? Is that a good, you think that's a good Bigfoot mating call? What about that one? How about just... That's more like a cat trying to get a hairball out of its throat. If you guys have a better Bigfoot mating call, please call the show and leave me a recording of that. I'm going to document this. I think it's important. 646-450-2012. We have here our guy Larry Doyle Sanders, this moron who was found guilty by a judge. This was about a couple of weeks ago. I meant to cover this story because it's bizarre. It involves Bigfoot and people that believe in it. Jimmy Knighton was strangled to death. Jimmy was his friend. Oh, strangled him to death. Of all ways to go. Just get a strangled Jimmy Knighton while they were out fishing. Out fishing, him and Sanders. Knighton and Sanders out fishing. You go out fishing with Sanders. Yeah. You know he believes in Bigfoot, but you don't expect him to kill you over his Bigfoot beliefs. You just figure like, oh, I'm going to go fishing with Larry Doyle Sanders. You know, I know he believes in Bigfoot. He's probably going to, at a certain point during the fishing expedition, be like, shh, quiet. I think I hear a Sasquatch. And then I'm gonna have to play along. I'm gonna be like, oh, Larry, all right, I'll listen. No, it's probably just a coyote or something else. And then, of course, when we're walking to the fishing area, he's going to stop. And he's going to be like, oh, this looks like a Sasquatch footprint, a Bigfoot footprint. And I'm going to have to play along. We're like, oh, yeah, Larry probably is. And then he's going to fiddle with some piles of poop with a stick. Be like, I think I see some Bigfoot poop. And then I'm going to have to play along. Be like, oh, it probably is Bigfoot poop, Larry. Although I think to me it looks like deer feces. But what do I know? You know, I haven't been hunting Bigfoot as long as you have, Larry Doyle Sanders. You genius. What you don't expect is Larry Doyle Sanders to strangle you while you're fishing because he thinks you're summoning Bigfoot. All right, we got some details of the case here. It says Larry and Jimmy were out noodling. I believe that's hunting for catfish, correct? While out noodling, says Larry had seen 3 Sasquatch-looking figures by the river. He said this to the court? Okay. Witnesses for the prosecution testified that Larry had said he believed Jimmy was trying to kill him and send his body down the river as a sacrifice to Bigfoot. He's got a lawyer here who who claims that his client had acted in self-defense because, you know, lawyers are equally evil and they have a special place in hell, these lawyers. I tell you. My client was acting in self-defense. He believed he saw Bigfoot, and he believed he was going to be sacrificed to the Bigfoot. Do Bigfoots usually travel in packs? Let me Google this. I can't get much information on whether or not Bigfoots travel in packs. There is a lot of information on Bigfoot, though. There are so many groups, Bigfoot research associations. There's a lot of money in organizations out there whose sole purpose seems to be documenting and searching for some mythical beast. There's a lot of effort and funds going into this. Can't get the nut allergy cured, but we got a lot of money towards looking for Bigfoot poop out there. It's so nice to know. Bigfoots travel in packs. Wow, these are things we need to know, right? What does Bigfoot taste like? Let me Google that. Oh, I'm getting nothing on that. I'm just getting a lot of what does Bigfoot eat websites. I mean, they're breaking it down with this stuff. They know exactly what these Bigfoots eat. They're omnivores, apparently. They both eat plants and meat. They like berries, leaves, and nuts. They know what Bigfoot likes somehow. Wow. Oh, they also eat geese and ducks, raccoons, possums, and skunk, apparently. It's good to know. Oh, wow. A lot of stupidness out there in the world. Let's figure out what's going on with Larry and Jimmy. Oh, goodness, man. Imagine you find out your husband was murdered by a guy who thought he was going to sacrifice him to Bigfoots. This whole sacrifice to Bigfoots, too, who's ever heard of that? All of it's so strange. They have a forensic psychiatrist testifying that Sanders was suffering from methamphetamine-induced psychosis and believed he was defending himself. There's methamphetamine involved. I mean, at that point, do you even get a lawyer? I mean, you shouldn't be able to have a lawyer at that point because your defense of self-defense, that's just gone at that point. You know, it says Jimmy died following a fight during which Larry put him in a chokehold. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. His obituary for Jimmy says, Jimmy truly enjoyed anything and everything outdoors. He loved to fish, hunt game, ride four-wheelers, and most of all, drink his beer around a big bonfire. Jimmy never met a stranger and would give anyone the shirt off his back. He never met a stranger? He would give the shirt off his back. This Jimmy sounds like a great guy. He just loves to fish and drink beers. Simple guy. Doesn't believe in Bigfoot, to his credit.
Yay! 1, 2, 3, 4. Hunting Bigfoot, hunting it all day. Hunting Bigfoot, gonna shoot him in the face. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot me a Bigfoot. Been hunting Bigfoot today, and I shot something. Let me go see what it is. Oh. Shit, it's a possum. Hunting Bigfoot with my friend Steve. Hunting Bigfoot, I see him in the trees. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot that Bigfoot. He's behind the tree. I'm aiming to fire, and I think that I got him. Let me see. Shit, I shot Steve. Hunting Bigfoot, instead I shot Steve. Didn't mean to shoot him, and his family's mad at me. Oh, now I'm going to Steve's funeral, and I gotta explain to his relatives that I mistook him for a fictitious creature that doesn't exist, and that I'm not gonna hunt Bigfoot anymore, but they still pissed. I ain't gonna hunt no more Bigfoot.
The Pope is going to hold a press conference on aliens and the supernatural. A man is arrested for releasing some bodily fluids on a customer in Whole Foods. And a 106-year-old man claims the world's oldest skydiving record. These are the weird stories for Thursday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian inside a closet. Here we go. The Pope is going to hold a press conference on aliens and the supernatural, which leads me to believe that the Pope finally took mushrooms. It's about time, Pope, that you took some mushrooms. Really get on the phone with God. This is a very strange press conference. How'd you like to be the guy scheduling the Pope's conferences and meetings? They're getting stranger and stranger. I think he had a press conference on gay people as well. Pope, what next? Yeah, I don't know. Let's have a meeting about chemtrails. I don't know. I took a sufficient dose of LSD yesterday, and I think I'm ready to tell everyone that they don't need us to talk to God. They can go inside. Whoa. Pope, stop right there. We can't play that card just yet. Then we'll be powerless. The Vatican apparently has announced it's going to hold a press conference. This is true. It's going to occur tomorrow, Florida Friday, to discuss the supernatural phenomena that's out there, including aliens, and how the church plans to handle potential encounters with aliens in the future. Ooh, I'm very curious to hear what the church plans are to handle future encounters with aliens. I mean, my guess is they're going to get the jump on converting the space people. They'll probably allow the aliens to join the Catholic Church, to get baptized, receive sacraments, etc. Because the numbers are dwindling, and as far as churchgoers go, you gotta find new populations that you can convert. I think aliens are the perfect solution to that. Probably even allow the aliens to join the priesthood, which would be shocking. That would mean they would allow aliens before women to join the priesthood, but I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest with you. Now, it says here, according to a notice on the Vatican website, this event will begin at noon and feature 3 prominent Vatican members. They include members of the Vatican's Doctrine of the Faith, the director of the International Observatory for Marian Apparitions and Mystical Phenomena of the Pontifical International Marian Academy. They got someone handling apparitions and mystical phenomena. Well, you got to have someone in that department. They do. This is the individual that's probably in charge of all the exorcisms and whatnot. And this conference is being held to present the new provisions of the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith for discerning between apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. The Vatican has not held a similar event since February 1978. They waited a long time, despite more and more supernatural phenomena being reported over the past decade, I would say. More and more alien sightings for sure, abductions, all of that. The National Catholic Reporter notes that the decision to hold this press conference comes after a surge in reports of aliens and supernatural phenomena by the mainstream media. And during the conference, the Vatican is expected to introduce some new guidelines on how it will address encounters with aliens and phenomena attributed to them. Until now, such reports have largely been dismissed by the Pope and the Vatican's investigative team. Last year, Pope Francis briefly mentioned aliens while discussing early Christians' interactions with Jews and Gentiles. How did he get off on that tangent? How do you go from Christians' interaction with Jews and Gentiles into aliens? I didn't see the brief. For reasons not entirely clear, he compared these interactions to potential encounters with aliens. Right? And strangely, he mentioned that interactions with Mexicans also had some parallels with interactions with space people. Very strange. Here's a quote from the Pope. If, for example, tomorrow an expedition of Martians came, and some of them came to us here, Martians, right? Green with that long nose and big ears, just like children paint them, and one says, "But I want to be baptized," what would happen? The Pope wondered at that time. I love how the Pope described Martians with being green with big ears. That was like the definition of Martians in the 60s and 70s. I think we've gone beyond the little green men now. But it's okay. The Pope is trying. The Pope is trying. The Pope is concerned when the aliens come here. They might want to choose one of our Earth religions. I doubt it, but maybe they do. Then we have a few on the menu. It's hard to imagine the aliens choosing some sort of Earth-centric religion, but more than likely will be converted to their intergalactic religion, whatever that is, when they show it to us, because we won't be able to resist that. Whatever it is, it's going to be huge, and they'll probably convert us very easily, I'd imagine. Aliens themselves will probably be our new gods if they ever arrive. For some, they already are our gods. And if you've ever gone to a UFO convention, you can see it is the UFO phenomenon is one big ideology, and it's mostly crazy people. I have to say, I'm fairly interested in hearing what the Pope has to say about this supernatural phenomena. Not just the aliens, but what about the other stuff like Slender Man? What does the Pope think of the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoots, right? I mean, do they have a plan to convert all the Bigfoots? I'd imagine they have to come up with something here. I'd love to see a Bigfoot with a collar on, yeah, leading a sermon. Just a sermon of like, all rise. A man was arrested for releasing bodily fluids on a Whole Foods shopper. Please say he sneezed on her shoes. Please say he just sneezed on her shoes. Please just sneeze on her shoes. A man pleasures himself. Leaves bodily fluids on a shopper. Man, I was hoping it was a sneeze on the shoes, but no. It involves a man pleasuring himself. Not the kind of bodily fluids you want on yourself while you're shopping at Whole Foods. You don't expect it. Maybe you expect that while you're shopping at a Walmart. Or a Waffle House. Maybe you're having. You don't expect it in a Whole Foods. Well, that means if it's in Whole Foods, you know it's going to be 100% organic at least. All right, that's a bad joke. Forgive me. We have here the police say a man performed a sexual act on himself in the middle of a Whole Foods store and left his bodily fluids on a woman that was shopping. This took place in Georgia, Chamblee, Georgia. Chamblee police have made this arrest. This is a disturbing case. A woman was shopping at the store. She told the police a stranger ejected bodily fluids onto her. Here's her quote here. I'm afraid to read it. I don't know if I need any more details or even if I want more details. You know, this is horrible. This is one of those moments where you're like, what a day to be literate. I wish I wasn't. Here's the quote. I see this gentleman walking down the aisle who's pretending to be shopping. He's holding a basket. He looked kind of like a normal gentleman, like maybe late 20s, early 30s. Nothing like extra suspicious about him. I bend over to grab the chips, and as I was doing that, I felt something wet and warm on my backside, and so I put my hands on my back, and then so what could it possibly be? Was it something that dripped from the ceiling? Like, sometimes you get hit with a mystery drip from above, and you're like, oh my God, I hope this is just rainwater and not, liquid cancer that just fell on me. Then I look at my hand and I see, oh my goodness, I see a light colored substance, and then not what you want to find on your backside while you're shopping. I had just found these amazing tomatoes too. They looked amazing. I turn around, I see this guy looking at me, and then he zips his pants up. Now, there's some surveillance footage that showed the woman chasing the man out of the store. She was trying to draw as much attention as possible to the suspect and the situation so that there would be plenty of witnesses, which you have to commend her for. I mean, how many people at that point just wouldn't crumble under the situation? But she had the wherewithal to make us think about it and chase him out of the store so people can see him. They can check the surveillance footage. And a man named Troy, age 28, a disgusting individual, has been taken into custody. He'll be charged with sexual battery, public indecency. What should happen is the woman that was the victim should be allowed to smash him in the junk with the produce of her choice. I would recommend the largest pineapple in the store. And this is a lesson, guys. This is exactly why when you go grocery shopping, you make a grocery list and you don't shop on an empty stomach. You want to get in and out as quickly as possible. In and out, in and out. Avoid bodily fluids. Yay! A Texas man reclaims the world's oldest skydiving record at 106 years old. After retaking at age 106 the Guinness World Records mark for oldest person to tandem skydive out of an airplane, Alfred Blaschke hailed his feat as living evidence that, quote, everyone is more capable than they think. This is an uplifting story that even if you're over 100, you can still set some Guinness World Records. Here's another quote from the Georgetown, Texas resident. If you think you can't, you're just underestimating yourself. You just need to make the decision to try. Now, Blaschke's motivational comments came in a write-up published by the media, specifically the Guinness World Record website, whose organization is known for maintaining a database of more than 40,000 world records. Now, it says here, this particular record, which Blaschke now has captured twice, made international news because of an entirely different person altogether this past fall. In October, 104-year-old Dorothy Hoffner of Chicago made a tandem skydive aimed at landing her the world's record for essentially being the oldest person ever to jump from a plane. That was at 104. However, 8 days later, while awaiting Guinness's official certification for her achievement, unfortunately, Dorothy Hoffner died in her sleep at her living community. Blaschke then soared to the skies on a plane the morning of November 27th. After reaching an altitude of 9,000 feet over Fentress, Texas, Blaschke attached himself to a skydiving instructor and jumped out of the plane into a free fall with him. The pair safely parachuted the final 5,500 feet to the ground while his children, grandchildren, journalists, and even government officials cheered on below. So that's a strange aspect of the story, is that the record was held briefly, not officially, but a woman who was 104 took the jump, unfortunately dies a week later. I mean, at some point, we're just chucking old people out of planes here. I mean, what are we doing? This is a little strange to me. I mean, I'm hoping this guy Blaschke lasts, but I mean, he's 106. How much further is he going? Any 107-year-olds out there just want to... And it says here, this is the third occasion that Blaschke has gone tandem skydiving. His second time was in 2020 when he was 103 years and 181 days old. He jumped out of a plane at 14,000 feet to celebrate his twin grandson's graduation from college. Yeah. Way to steal the limelight from your twin grandson's graduation. This is a big day for them. They toiled for years. in school. They're finally going to graduate, and Grandpa's got to outshine him by jumping out of a plane at 103 years old. Psh, this guy. Can't you take a back seat, Blaschke? Couldn't even let this lady have the record. Blaschke says, "This has been my dream." He said that after the 2020 jump, which was 3 years after he celebrated his 100th birthday with his debut skydive, according to Guinness. Blaschke says, quote, "I never thought I'd be around this long. It's pretty cool." Now, at that time, he had the record, but Sweden's Ruth Linnea Ingard Larsson, did I say her name right? Ruth Linnea Ingard Larsson. She surpassed Blaschke's mark by a relatively slim margin in 2022 at 103 years and 259 days old. It was her exploits that inspired Blaschke to think about recapturing his mark. Well, it's just these old people just outdoing each other with these skydiving tactics. This deserves a documentary. What's going on here? I wasn't aware of this little contest going on with 100-plus-year-olds just beating each other's skydiving records here. This is wild. And if you're like a really old person, like you're hovering around 105, 106 here, I mean, why not get involved? Because even if you don't live through the dive, it's kind of a badass way to go out, right? And you could still be the record holder of oldest person to die skydiving as well. So either way, you're looking at a possible record for yourself. You know, when you stop and think about it, pretty much any semi-sophisticated physical activity over 100 could put you in the record book, right? I mean, people over 100 don't do much but sit in a chair. So anything outside of that, you could be breaking a record, you know? Maybe you're 105 and you can do a kickflip on a skateboard or a cannonball into a pool. There's got to be a record for oldest person to bungee jump, I'd imagine, or finish an entire calzone. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm impressed if someone over 100 years old can at karaoke completely finish Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, that should be a record, right? Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Just a heads up, tomorrow's a Friday, so we'll be doing the Florida Friday episode. If you happen to come across any strange, weird, hilarious Florida news, please send them my way. Send me links. It's funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can slide into my DMs on Instagram @funnyjones or @weirdafnews. I wanted to give a shout out and a thanks to some people who wrote me some nice comments on the podcast on Spotify. You can write comments on individual episodes. Someone named Tammy about a day ago wrote, "I love your podcast. It makes for a great morning. Plus, I learn something new every day, and I end up laughing while I'm learning. I love you, man. Glad you're feeling better." Isn't that sweet? So shout out to Tammy. Very nice little comment there. I don't get very many on Spotify, but here's another couple good ones here. This was published 2 days ago. Patricia Sisson wrote, "Absolutely hilarious. So funny, silly, witty, unpredictable, and creative. Humor is so good for us. Thank you for always making me laugh, especially when I really need it." You're very welcome, Patricia, and thank you for writing that amazing comment on Spotify. I appreciate that. Someone named Char wrote, "The cheese story comments and puns were epic, Jonesy. I was impressed with those. Well done, Jonesy. Also, yak cheese is commonly given as a tasty chew for dogs. Thanks again for another fun podcast." Well, thank you, Char, for a really sweet message. It was really nice. I don't get a lot of these comments. Here's another one on a Florida Man episode. Let's see here. This is from Rising Horus wrote a comment, "A spaghetti incident?" I don't remember what that was referring to. Someone attacked somebody with pasta, I believe, on that episode. What else do we have here? Oh, Patricia wrote me another comment on another episode. "Pure comedy." Very cool. And Tammy, another one. She wrote, "I absolutely love your show. The weird stories are so funny considering the world is ridiculous and upside down. You make the world look different, Jonesy, and funny instead of ugly and disappointing." So these are some nice comments from some loyal listeners on Spotify. I don't get a lot of those comments, so that was really sweet. You can also rate the podcast on Spotify by giving it 5 stars, which is really, really helpful. So please do that if you happen to be listening on Spotify. I really appreciate that. I'm getting more and more listeners on Spotify because the Google podcast went away, sadly. Anyways, whatever you happen to be listening to Weird AF News on, if you're able to give me a rating, give me some stars or just a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that so much. It really helps out. It really does. And if you have the time to write a review, and I see it, I'll read it. And sometimes I miss them though. So if you can email me and let me know you wrote me a review, and I'll give you a nice shout out on the show. As always, there's a phone number you can call as well if you'd like to leave a voicemail, 646-450-2012. I'll publish a phone call after this, maybe 2. And then I guess I'll see you tomorrow for Florida Friday. I guess I should mention, if you want to support the show, as always, go to weirdafnews.com where you can buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you tomorrow for Florida Friday. Thanks again, guys.
Hi, Jonesy. My name is Danielle, and I'm giving my son permission to tell you how much he likes your show. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kieran. I've been with your show for a few months now. Florida Friday episodes are my best. I live in Minnesota. I listen to it every day, before and after school to make sure I didn't miss anything. I started from a recommendation on Spotify, and I thought this is what it's recommending me, but I started on Florida Friday, so I had the weirdest episode, and it's just, you make me laugh, Jonesy, when I'm having some, when I'm down, you make me laugh, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you.
Jonesy, the sandwiches at Dunkin' Donuts, I think they're just trying to make healthier versions of McDonald's sandwiches without admitting it. But the donuts, I don't know if this is true where you are, but they have old-fashioned plain donuts, regular glazed donuts, blueberry glazed donuts, chocolate glazed donuts, regular chocolate donuts, Boston cream donuts, jelly donuts, and even a watermelon burst donut, which is, I don't know what that consists of, but I don't want to know. But yeah, and they even have those donut holes. So I don't know what you're talking about, unless things are different where you are. Good luck with your life, man.
Workers are arrested for hiring thugs to assault their manager. A Polish priest is jailed for throwing a wild orgy where other stuff happened. And a burglar left a large bowel movement in the victim's toilet, according to the police. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the universe. I got you weird. I got you weird right here, see? I got it, see? It's news. Some workers hired thugs to beat up their manager for pressuring them to work harder. Well, that's one way to do it, I suppose. The Bengaluru police arrested 5 individuals for assaulting a man who works as an auditor with a private firm. Turns out 2 of the 5 individuals that were arrested happen to be colleagues of the auditor, and they had hired the goons to beat him up, according to the police. Guys, I think we can all admit that at some point we've all wished to see our boss suffer. Maybe not your current boss, but there's been a boss along the way. It's hard to go through life without at least one terrible boss that makes you feel like crap, that abuses you. You know, that one person where you just get up and you're like, oh, I gotta go in and see this guy today. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. The kind of person that makes you want to quit. Most of us have had those, I think. It's hard. Except for maybe Gen Z. They don't even really have jobs, from my understanding. And then, I mean, even if they have a job, they're not going to get one of these terrible bosses, because no one would bring a boss like that around Gen Z. They would cry. They would cry. You can't do that. They cannot handle anyone that makes that kind of demand on them. Anyways, what I think is strange is that two of his coworkers were present for what looks like the beating in the center of the road. Yeah, they beat him up in a road. The police received a video of this assault. It went viral on social media. The video was shot on the dash camera of a car. It shows the accused men beating this guy, Suresh, the auditor, with an iron rod in the middle of the road. An iron rod. That's a strange choice of weapon. I mean, I've wished bad things to happen to some bosses in my past. Never did I wish them a beating with an iron rod. Only because I couldn't think of it, to be honest with you. All right, let's get some more details before we wrap this up. Let's find out if this guy's going to survive. There's a lot of names in here I cannot pronounce, though, so this is going to be a tragedy. According to the police, Suresh works as an auditor with the milk product company in Bengaluru. It's not naming the company. And then we have some other individuals. One of them is named Umashankar. And the other one is Vinesh. That was an easy one. Whew. Moving right along. These were two that were among those arrested by the police. They also worked with him at the company. How did they think they were going to get away with this? Like, he's not going to recognize them standing there, pointing at him? Yeah, hit him there with the iron rod. He makes us work too hard. When questioned, the accused admitted to the crime, claiming that Suresh, the auditor that was beat in the middle of the road with an iron rod, put a lot of pressure on them. So, they just admitted, yeah, he makes us work extra hours. We get a very short lunch break. It's terrible. I mean, what are we, Disney employees? Come on now. The accused said Suresh had joined the company a year ago and was a very strict auditing officer. He allegedly harassed and demanded that all employees clear the stock balance promptly. I don't know what that means. Before Suresh's arrival, these accused individuals were very lax and delayed in clearing the balance, according to the police. Oh, the police know their business now. Suresh brought this to the attention of the company's seniors and took strict action against some of the employees, including Umashankar and Vinesh, the men that can be seen in the video standing around while goons beat them with an iron rod. It says here, following the direction of the leader of this operation, which happens to be it's got to be the one with the hard name, right? Umashankar. They hired a few goons from KR Prem. I don't know if that's an organization that provides goons for business services, but it's KR Prem. I guess maybe if you guys need to hire somebody for your boss, maybe you're being maltreated at the Cinnabon, just look up KR Prem. They'll beat your boss in the middle of the mall with an iron rod. It says the goons followed Suresh and assaulted him using an iron rod. The police in the area arrested the accused, and the video went very viral. Further investigations are underway. I'm wondering if the viral video has been shared among other displeased office workers around the world. Just sending it to your buddy at work. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, let's get this guy after work. A Polish priest is jailed for throwing a wild orgy where a male prostitute died after overdosing on erectile dysfunction pills. Wow, now that's a mouthful of a title right there. Let's repeat it for those in the room who were in the middle of something. A Polish priest is jailed for throwing a wild orgy. That's not all. A male prostitute apparently died after overdosing on some erectile dysfunction pills. I didn't know any of this could even happen in the universe. Can you really die overdosing on erectile dysfunction pills? I've never heard of that either. Wow, I got to tell you, the church in Poland is pretty fascinating, much more fun than what's going on in Italy. A Polish priest was sentenced to 18 months in jail for... A guy died. He only got 18 months? How? Anyways, it's 18 months in jail for sex and drug crimes. This was after an incident in which a man reportedly collapsed during an orgy at his home. So you got the Polish priest having an orgy at his home. The lesson here is if you're a priest that likes to have orgies at your home with male prostitutes, do your homework on the correct dosage of Viagra, because you want to make sure that you're not having to hide a body at the end of the day. It says here, a man collapsed at his party. You mean the orgy? The priest orgy? Priests having orgies. I mean, I can't wrap my head around this stuff. A man collapsed at the party after taking too many erectile dysfunction pills. According to the media, the man was a prostitute. So you got the priests having an orgy, and they're bringing in male prostitutes. One of the party goers called an ambulance, but when let's call them orgy goers, not party goers. We want to call them orgy goers. Let's give them their proper due. One of the orgy goers called an ambulance, but when the paramedics arrived, they were refused entry and were only able to attend to the man after police were called, according to the reports. Let me get this straight. You called an ambulance, you orgy goer? When the paramedics arrived, they were refused entry into the orgy? And because of this, a man died. Wait, you called an ambulance and they weren't allowed in. This makes no sense at all. Apparently, the priest is referred to as Thomas Z. What's the matter? They can't give his real name? Oh, got to protect the priest so you can send them to another location after their 18-month sentence is up. Yep. You got to get him another gig somewhere, but can't let him know what happened. So no doubt this will not be the last of his drug-fueled orgies at his house. And all on the parishioner's dime. Isn't that nice, guys? You got your local government mishandling your funds. You got your local church mishandling your funds. Now, this priest, Thomas Z., was sentenced for sexual offenses, supplying some drugs, failing to provide assistance to a person in danger of loss of life or serious bodily harm. He's been ordered to pay the victim 15,000 zlotys. Zlotys. How do you say that? Is this are these Polish bucks? I've never had to pronounce Polish bucks before. I've never been to Poland. One of my favorite artists is from Poland. Beksinski. Are you familiar with Zlatoslaw Beksinski? Anyways, back to Jonesy trying to pronounce these Polish bucks. I think it's Zlotys. I love how you guys like to put an L next to a Z. What a cruel trick you're playing on the rest of the world. I see what you're doing, Poland. Oh, you're trying to do one up on the PN word that we use over here, like pneumonia, but it's got a P on it. That's a trick we like to play over here. Although I don't know, maybe pneumonia is used elsewhere as well. Okay, zlotys, 15,000 zlotys. He's going to pay the victim. I thought the victim died. I don't know what we're doing here with the information here. Something's off. Something's amiss. It says the man lost his life, but now you're paying the victim. You mean the victim's family for the funeral? So you should probably give him a free service too on the church, right? Yeah. I mean, after all, the church killed him. Anyways, the 15,000 zlotys in damages, and to pay several thousand zlotys to a fund set up to help the victims of crime. So I would implore all of you to please donate your zlotys to help the victims of crime. You guys ought to pay some zlotys to get a public defender to put these priests away for life, and release their names to the public. Due to the nature of the case, the trial took place behind closed doors. Oh, behind the closed doors, of course. You got to protect the clergy. You can't have it out there in the open. So ridiculous. So ridiculous, the church. When will they go away, guys? When will they go away? It says here, a similar incident to this, an Italian priest was sentenced to 3 years in prison in late 2021 for stealing nearly 120 zlotys. No, it was Italian bucks, I assume. Vatican dollars. What do they call them? Vatican bucks. He stole $120K from the church to buy drugs for gay sex parties that he hosted. So this is kind of a thing they like to do. Just, steal funds from the coffers and put on their gay, drug-fueled sex parties with male prostitutes. Good times, guys. Good times. Getting into heaven. Let's all get into heaven. How do we get into heaven? Well, you ask those guys over there. They know how to get into heaven. A burglar left a large bowel movement in a victim's toilet, according to the Ontario police. Looks like we got a turd burglar here. Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go. You know that. An Ontario woman has been arrested for a weekend break-in during which police say a large bowel movement was left in the victim's toilet. Wait a minute. A woman was arrested for this? A woman did this? Ooh, our serial pooper is a female, it turns out. Big surprise. Usually this is sort of the activities of degenerate boys. Apparently officers were called to a home on Edinburgh Road after 4 p.m. on Saturday. The homeowners told police that they had gone out around 3 hours earlier and returned to find several of their windows smashed. Some things were missing, such as prescription medications, clothing, sunglasses, heirloom jewelry, coins, along with some other property. The suspect, also known as the burglar, also known as the turd burglar, also left behind some things, such as clothing, boots, and credit cards. And in case you couldn't find out who they were and nab them for the crime at that point, a quarter pound of DNA in the toilet as well. Very, very foolish individual, clearly. Or maybe this is just happens to be the code among thieves. Take some shit, leave some shit. I don't know. I've never been a thief before. Video surveillance captured this woman leaving the property, pulling a suitcase full of property. So it was a lady. She took a deuce and took a suitcase. 3 days later, officers were patrolling downtown when they spotted a woman wearing some of the stolen clothing. This woman is just doing it all wrong. This criminal is so dumb. I mean, can you act any more Florida, but up in Ontario? Police searched the lady and found more stolen property, including jewelry and coins from the same house or another house. Has she been pooping all over the neighborhood as she's stealing things? The 22-year-old from Guelph, is that a place? Guelph? Guelph. That's a very funny word. Guelph. You know, Guelph is flag backwards. Did you guys know that? They're just letting you guys know. Maybe you live in Guelph. Someone leave a deuce. Someone leave you a little upper decker the other day. Ooh, that's when you're really doing it. You leave an upper decker. You guys should Google that. If this was a real criminal, it'd be an upper decker. The 22-year-old, this is awfully young to be pooping in people's toilets and robbing them. She's been charged with break and enter and possessing stolen property. What about the poop? Isn't that some sort of toilet bowl graffiti? This has got to be her calling card, right? She left a floater. The Brown Bandit. This is what you call not breaking and entering, breaking and exiting. How about that? Yeah, guys, doing it. Hello, my friends and listeners of the show. Thanks for being with me, being present. Appreciate that. Please tell a friend about Weird AF News if you could. That's my call to action at this moment. It's a great way to spread the show around. Maybe you have somebody who could benefit from this strange podcast that we let into our lives every day. You know, maybe mainstream news has got your buddy down and you're just like, hey, bro, check this out. Mainstream news, you don't need that. Listen to some weird news. Have a laugh. Learn about the weird world around you. Be thankful you're not these idiots that are in the stories. You know, this sort of thing. It can make your life better is what I'm saying. Also, anyone who you think might enjoy Florida Friday episodes, maybe you have a friend that like loves Florida Man news. That's a reason to suggest Weird AF News. By the way, the next episode is going to be the Florida Friday episode, I believe. So if you'd like to get busy and send me some Florida stories, my email is funnyjones@gmail.com. You can also send it to me in my Instagram DMs @funnyjones as well. So send me whatever weird Florida news from this week, and you know, I'll try and put it all together and release the best Florida Friday episode that a boy can while he's still traveling. So not easy. Trying to juggle all kinds of commitments and also do the show. So yeah. Have you guys guessed the country I'm in now? Trying to think of another hint for you here. Can't really think of one. What are they known for? I don't know. I went to a war museum. They're known for a war. That's for sure. Anyways, It's really hot. That probably doesn't help. They're all hot right now. It's so hot. I'm dying. I'm taking like 3 showers a day at least. My clothes, I have to keep buying socks, man. Keep buying socks. So frustrating. Thank God they're cheap. Anyways, what else? Oh, I guess if you want to support the show, please, I don't know, go to weirdafnews.com and buy me a coffee, or you can join the Patreon. That's a way to do it. That's the way to do it. Supporting Weird AF News. It is for free. A woman is suing Disneyland because the Goofy character fell on top of her. A resident of Canada wants both a vagina and a penis and has just won public funding. And a commercial featuring nuns eating potato chips for communion wafers sparks outrage in Italy. These are the weird stories for Tuesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. Whee! A woman is suing Disneyland because the Goofy actor permanently injured her. We have here a woman who visited Disney California Adventure. She didn't have the sort of Disney time that we all anticipate when we go there. She's suing the resort. It was a terrible situation. Apparently, allegedly, she was injured, suffered several injuries after a cast member dressed as Goofy fell on top of her, according to the lawsuit. Her name is Katrina. Katrina was visiting Disneyland with her daughter. The lawsuit claims that when Katrina was bending over to tie her daughter's shoes, a Disney cast member dressed as Goofy walked directly into her, and she fell onto the hard cement. And then to top it all off, apparently Goofy fell on top of Katrina with, quote, all of his body weight, which resulted in some severe, traumatic, debilitating, and permanent injuries that necessitated significant medical care, as well as lots of emotional pain and suffering. But I mean, come on, lady. This is the Goofy experience. This is called Goofy time. Everybody knows about Goofy time. This is what Goofy does, all right? Goofy's been doing this for decades. He can't help himself. He's sorry, Mickey. I don't think this woman appreciates what I would consider to be method Disney character acting. I mean, this is some high-level dedication to the character. And if anything, I mean, this Goofy deserves a raise. I mean, Mickey should give this Goofy a raise. But it says here, Katrina, despite all of the amazing experiences that are really authentic at this Disneyland, she's suing the resort. She's also suing the individual in the Goofy costume and the cast member who also worked as Goofy's handler. Oh, Goofy's got a handler. Well, Goofy needs a handler because Goofy's out of control with the whole Goofy time. You guys are enjoying my Goofy impression? This is pretty childish. But it's Weird AF News, and I get a little childish on here somewhere. At Disney parks, cast members wearing full character costumes are accompanied by another cast member who ensures they interact safely with guests. All right, yeah, I guess you need these handlers because it's so hard to see out of those costumes, I'd imagine. I mean, it looks to me like it's difficult to navigate in those things. You got a giant head on, and I think you can only see out of the mouth. Especially, I'd imagine seeing down low to the ground, which is where Katrina was at the time. She was tying her daughter's shoes, and so probably wasn't in the eyesight of the Goofy. And then, of course, imagine you're just rushing around with that costume on. You probably get a short break, and you got to rush right back to work because if you don't, apparently they beat the characters at Disney if you're late from lunch break. I heard I don't know. There's some stories about the mistreatment of the Disney characters over there, though, so I've heard. And they're probably not paid very well. I mean, it's sad to hear that she's also suing the cast member. The poor person's probably making, $16 an hour and has to pay for their own lunches at that expensive cafe in there. Now, for the purposes of this article, apparently they reached out to Disneyland and didn't hear back. Katrina claims the handler failed to prevent the collision between her and Goofy. Yeah, I'd say the handler is more liable in this situation because Goofy can't really see. I don't know what that handler was doing. Katrina is also requesting a jury trial to pursue damages related to health care bills and loss of earnings. Katrina's seeking damages for negligence and saying her injuries will result in some permanent disability. Well, if her medical bills and her injuries are absolutely legit, Disney should have just taken care of her medical bills, to prevent this lawsuit. I don't know why they wouldn't do. Well, they wouldn't do that because they're Disney. That's, I guess. The article ends by saying this isn't the only lawsuit filed against the entertainment company this year. Yeah, Disney, I imagine, gets sued all the time, and I believe they don't pay much in taxes either, as most huge Fortune 500 companies don't. How sad. How sad. Take care of the ladies' bills. What's wrong with you, Disney? I mean, just penny pinching all the time. And they raised the ticket prices again. Who can afford to go to Disney at all? We ought to just not go there, all of us. Just collectively decide, you know what, Disney, screw you. We're going to spend $200 a ticket to go there. You bring a family of 5 there, you're out like $1,500, bro. That's so expensive. Well, I hope Katrina's okay in the end, and I hope she doesn't have permanent injuries because of fat-ass Goofy falling on her. Good thing she didn't bump into Donald Duck, though. I mean, that guy's always in a terrible mood. A Canadian wants both a vagina and a penis, and the public will pay for this surgery. I guess they want to screw themselves. Whoa! Okay, bad joke. So sorry. Forgive me. Apparently, Ontario has been ordered to pay for this unique surgery for a resident who is seeking to have a vagina constructed while leaving the penis intact. So this individual will have a vagina and a penis. What do you call that? A pagina or a vaginus? This is probably an ongoing debate in the community. Is it a pagina or a vaginus? It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where they argue about whether it's called a bro or a man's-ear. Anybody remember that? That one? Oh, that was a great episode. It says here, apparently denying the procedure would infringe on this individual's chartered protected right to security of a person, according to the court ruling in Ontario. This was a unanimous decision by a 3-member panel of judges of Ontario's Divisional Court, and it could expand access to what's called, quote, bottom surgery for individuals who identify as non-binary, meaning neither fully male nor fully female. We all know what this is, correct? Now, in this particular lawsuit, the individual is identified only as initials KS, so that's what we'll be referring to this person as. KS has been locked in this legal battle with the Ontario Health Insurance Plan for 2 years, when originally the health insurance denied a funding request to have a penile-preserving vaginoplasty performed at a clinic in Austin, Texas. Wait a minute, Austin, Texas? Why would they be having this in Texas if they're living in Canada? Perhaps these procedures aren't done up there? That's wild that you could have a procedure done in a different country but have it paid for by your country. I don't believe we do that in the U.S. because a lot of people go on what are called medical tourists, medical tourism trips where they go to another country to get a procedure that's cheaper than the U.S. Their insurance doesn't cover that from my understanding, so I've never heard of that either. What it says here, this explains it. This surgery is not available anywhere in Canada, apparently. It involves creating a vaginal canal or opening without removing the penis. So in Canada, you have to have the penis removed. But in the U.S., yeah, you can have both. That's how we do it down here in the U.S. You can have yourself a vagina if you feel like it. Yeah, hey, in America, you can be who you want to be here. It's freedom, baby. You want to get yourself a vaginus, pangina? Have 3 vaginas and 4 penises. Put one on your chin. I mean, come on, man. It says here, KS has appealed of the original decision with Ontario's Health Services Review Board, argued that forcing her to have her penis removed while adding the vagina would invalidate her identity and be akin to an illegal act of conversion therapy. She's also worried about the risk of complications and urinary incontinence from the urological rerouting and the risk of orgasm dysfunction. She argued the procedure she is seeking abroad is like standard vaginoplasties performed in Ontario, but without the additional procedure, namely the penectomy. Yeah, she wants to keep the penis and still have the vaginoplasty. We have a quote here from KS's lawyer, Mr. McIntyre, who said, quote, "This is a significant win for the transgender and non-binary communities. We hope that the OHIP decides to accept the decision of the court rather than seeking leave to appeal so that KS can move forward with her surgery she's been trying to get for many years now." So now I guess the question is, what's it going to cost the taxpayers of Ontario? About 70,000 USD, which in Canadian bucks is $8 million, I think. I'm just making fun of you, Canada. I guess the only question that I have is, should this be funded by the public? That's something that we could debate. In my country, this sort of stuff, from my understanding, really isn't funded by the public. In my country, I see people having GoFundMes just to get cancer treatments. So, to see a community fund go towards something like this seems new to me. I don't know if I'm fully on board with it. I guess in Canada, if you have all your basic stuff taken care of, then yeah. In the U.S., we don't have our basic stuff taken care of, and often I'd imagine this would be considered some sort of extra surgery that wouldn't be covered by insurance nor funded by the public. Anyways, you probably have an opinion on this. Call the show 646-450-2012. Also, I want to know, is it a vagina or a vaginas? We're going to tally up the votes. Yay! A commercial featuring nuns eating potato chips for communion sparks outrage in Italy. This story's out of Rome, of course. There's a potato chip commercial that features nuns eating these crispy snacks known as potato chips. We're all familiar. But eating them for communion. And we have the Catholic Church calling this blasphemy. It's blasphemous. These are blasphemians. They're saying that this commercial should be taken right off the air. The commercial is by Amica Chips, a company I've never heard of. Must be an Italian chip company. It features young nuns inside a convent delighting that their communion wafer, known as the host, is actually a potato chip. There's a Mother Superior in the commercial who's watching the nuns giggle, and it is revealed that it was her that substituted the hosts for potato chips in the box where communion wafers are kept, which is called a tabernacle. We have here someone named Giovanni Baggio, who is head of a Catholic group that monitors Italian radio and television. Giovanni Baggio has called this commercial blasphemy. Baggio said the 30-second spot was, quote, outrageous, and that it, quote, offends the sensitivity of millions of practicing Catholics by trivializing the comparison between the potato chip and the consecrated object. Bro, it's not the body of Christ. Is anyone going to break the news to these stupid Catholics? It's just ridiculous to eat this little wafer.
It's the body of Christ. Eat the wafer.
I mean, you're living in a fantasy land, bro. A fantasy land. And now you're going to get mad that they made a potato chip commercial? So what? Man. I mean, the fact that the Vatican can get offended at anything like this after their track record, you just shut up. just stop it. The Catholic newspaper is called the Avvenire. The newspaper criticized the commercial, saying, quote, Christ has been reduced to a potato chip, debased and vilified, just like 2,000 years ago. Just like 2,000 years ago. Yeah, Jesus was actually crucified on a can of Pringles. I don't know if anyone knew that. Now, sadly, amid the backlash, Italy's Advertising Standards Authority, known as the IAP, announced an order for the commercial to be taken off the air. Oh, how could you fold like that, IAP? Wow. Get a backbone, bro, you jellyfish. Amica Chips has 7 days to appeal the decision, as they should, during which time broadcasts will continue. This is actually very good for their brand. They're getting, extra coverage. Social media users also reacted in horror to the ad. This is blasphemy. Respect our Lord Jesus in the Holy Eucharist, wrote one Instagram user. Another person said, you don't play with God. To my Italian friends, I suggest a total boycott of this company. Of course, this article isn't quoting the social media posts that thought it was great and awesome and hilarious and think that the church is acting ridiculous. But you can imagine that's going on social media, of course. Amica, the potato chip company, did not reply to a request for comment, as they shouldn't. They don't have to answer to this. They're just being, commercials are meant to be funny and taken lightly often. A sense of humor is a great way to get your message across. And if you're butthurt by that, just calm down. I mean, It's so hard to be funny in 2024. I'm offended. Meanwhile, like 99.9% of the people laughed at the damn thing. But you get the less than 1%. Like, oh my God, this is awful. How could you? Oh, come on, guys. This is like, the I can't believe it's not Christ substitute. This is so funny. May I just make one more statement about it? This is just advice to the Catholic Church in general. Be cool, man. Be cool. Embrace coolness. Embrace funny. Embrace lightheartedness. You are losing members at a rapid pace, and you need to retain the members that you do have and attract a younger generation who just doesn't go to church anymore. So it would behoove you to be cool. In fact, if I were you, I would have the Pope star in the next commercial, also eating a chip and giggling. That's how you get converts, baby. Well, hello, everybody. This is your host, Jonesy, recording this outro in the middle of an airport. I was a little pressed for time, and I forgot to do the outro, so we're doing it a little late, and I hope you can hear me. Well, I can't remember the last time I recorded a part of this podcast with all of these people looking at me. It's kind of an odd feeling, but I'm an American. I'm kind of used to it. Anyways, I hope everything's going good for you. Listen, if you'd like to send me an email or reach out or whatever, or follow what I'm doing here in my adventures, I have my Instagram's @FunnyJones. And you can email me as well, funnyjones@gmail.com, as you know. The phone number here is 646-450-2012. Can you hear the lady? Do you guys remember when the helicopters were flying over my head when I was in my apartment in downtown LA? That was crazy. Listen, if you want to support me and buy me a beer on my travels, it's pretty easy. Just go to weirdafnews.com, the official website of Weird AF News, and you can buy me a coffee or a beer right on there. Oh yeah, baby. We'll see you in the next stop. A minor league baseball team's mascot, Ozempic, is causing an uproar. A Beijing half-marathon runner is under investigation after it appears some Africans allowed him to win the race. And a Brazilian woman is arrested after taking a corpse into a bank to sign a loan. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the universe. I got 3 weird, kinky stories from around the globe. Ooh, let's do it. A minor league baseball team's in trouble for naming their mascot Ozempic. This story is out of the state of Minnesota. We have here a Minnesota minor league baseball team that's known for their history of wacky, outlandish, crazy promotions. The idea to them of naming their longtime pig mascot after a weight loss drug called Ozempic made perfect sense because it is crazy. It is outlandish. Unfortunately, it's also offensive to some people. The St. Paul Saints is the name of this minor league baseball team. Never heard of them. They quickly found out that not everybody's very amused by their pig's name, Ozempic, nor are they happy about the team's posting of a backstory about Ozempic and Ozempic's embarrassment at gaining all of this weight and Ozempic's promise to try to remain trim throughout the baseball season. People are up in arms. People can't handle it. Ooh! Any sort of referencing to weight loss is fat shaming to some uptight idiots. Okay, it says here, almost immediately after the team announced that they're calling their mascot Ozempic, criticism began pouring in on social media from people distressed by the name, calling it hurtful and insensitive. Can you imagine feeling distressed by, let's break it down. Let's say a Twitter post. Can you imagine feeling distressed by the Twitter post of a minor league baseball team's mascot? I mean, just think about that. I mean, just think about that making you distressed. The name of a minor league Baseball's mascot. This isn't even the major leagues. This is a minor league. How many of you even heard of this minor league baseball team? The St. Paul Saints. I mean, this is just such childish behavior. All right, so we have the Sean Aronson, Saints Vice President and Media Relations Director, who says the team only wanted an amusing topical name for their pig when it chose Ozempic from the nearly 2,300 entries in their Name the Pig contest. Team officials were very shocked that so many people found this name offensive, according to Aronson. Here's a quote from him. In today's world, people don't want to be diminished. They don't want to be made to feel a certain way. I'm not going to tell them how they feel is wrong. I'll tell them for you, Aronson. He goes on to say, but I can tell you there was no ill intent. There was no maliciousness. There was never even a discussion in the room when we were going over the name that, hey, this might offend some people. And that's probably true because Aronson and his crew are probably reasonable human beings. And they thought, no, who could possibly feel pain and hurt and distressed by the name of a minor league baseball's mascot in Minnesota? It says here, Ozempic is among several new drugs that have been effective in helping people lose significant weight. The drugs can be expensive depending on insurance coverage, but have drawn extensive attention in part because they've been promoted by celebrities and social media sites. Yeah, and I also read that it costs $5 to make Ozempic, and they're charging you $1,000 for it. So that just tells you the state of affairs when it comes to pharmaceuticals in this lovely country of ours with the acceptable healthcare structure. Anyways, back to the pig. The Saints pig is a beloved participant in the team's games played in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota, which is about 10 miles from the much larger home of the Minnesota Twins in downtown Minneapolis. The animal carries out balls to the umpire and over the course of the summer becomes noticeably larger, so much larger, in fact, that another young pig takes over duties midway through the season. Wow. You would think that the pig wouldn't get so big from doing all those chores, like bringing the balls out to the umpire. I'm sure they take it around the perimeter of the field so all the kids can see it as well. Probably takes a lot of photos with the kids, goes on promotion tours. I don't know why they keep feeding the pig so much. So they got to swap it out. Anyways, it says naming the pig mascot after this high-profile drug seemed a natural fit for the Saints, a AAA affiliate of the Twins that has had a long history of amusing promotions, such as attaching a fan to a Velcro wall in the outfield and holding races in the infield between people dressed as giant eyeballs. Oh, so they do all kinds of funny promotions and stunts there. That sounds like a lot of fun. I noticed that when I go to a minor league baseball game, which it's not often, it's been a long time, that they did have a lot of fun extracurricular activities there. I want to say they raffled off a car when I went to see the Staten Island Yankees play. Minor league baseball games are great. The beer's cheaper. Every seat's kind of pretty good. You know, they don't have these super giant stadiums where you're having to sit at the third upper deck and you can't see a damn thing. And you're like, what am I doing up here? You watch the game on the big screen. It's like, what's the point? No, you can see everything. Oh, I like minor league baseball. And what I don't like is people that get offended by the names of mascots of minor league baseball players. It just seems like guys, there's so many better places to put your feelings and emotions. I'm just telling you. Chinese marathon runners lost their medals after it was found out that the Africans let them win the race. The top 4 finishers of the Beijing half marathon have been stripped of their medals after an investigation found that 3 African runners deliberately slowed down near the finish line to allow a Chinese competitor to win the race. There's a photo of it. It's so funny. The Chinese man looks like he's struggling, and the African men look like they're just out for a little morning breezy little jog. One of them's looking at the guy's feet like, okay, I got to stay behind him, and let me stay behind him as they approach the finish line. Oh, this is amazing. The Chinese man looks like he's about to keel over. Okay, so China's He Ji crossed the finish line in 1 hour, 3 minutes, 44 seconds to claim the gold medal and a $5,000 first prize, with the African trio just 1 second behind in joint second place finish. That should raise an eyebrow right there. Joint second place finish for 3 of them. Exactly 1 second behind him. Like, what are we doing here, guys? If you're going to throw the race, I'm not saying throw the race, but if you're going to throw the race, here's how you don't throw the race. You all finish in a cluster exactly 1 second behind the guy, and there's a photo of you all staring at his feet. like the photo finishes you guys watching his legs to make sure. A Brazilian woman is arrested for taking a corpse into a bank to sign for a loan. It's the whole weekend at Bernie's, although this took place in Brazil, so I guess we could call it Weekend at Bernardino's. I just covered a Weekend at Bernie's like story where they took a dead guy through the bank drive-through to withdraw money. What is with people still attempting this in 2024? People watch that movie and they think it's a documentary. Serious. The article begins by saying, when Erica de Souza Vieira wheeled her lethargic-looking uncle into a Brazilian bank, the bank clerks quickly sensed something was amiss. One distrustful employee said to her, "I don't think he's well. Your uncle doesn't look well at all." Despite that, Erica tried to get her dead elderly relative to sign off on a 17,000 reais loan. How do you say that? R-E-A-I-S, reais? Are those Brazil bucks? Why can't we just call them Brazil bucks, guys? Let's make it easy, all right? The equivalent of this is about 3,000 USD, apparently. So now we have here Paulo Roberto Braga was the uncle. And he was 68 years old when he apparently passed away. Now, I watched the video of this, and he's definitely dead in the video. Who can tell for how long? He's not very stiff, so my guess is this is a recent passing of him. It's very disturbing, the video, by the way. There's 2 versions of it. One is censored, where you can't see his face, and the other one is uncensored. I had to search for the uncensored video, and it's not easy to watch, so just disclaimer, it's hard to, it's difficult to watch. I'm just going to tell you that. So, I don't recommend it. But watching the censored one, you don't really get the whole idea of what's going on. I mean, and I would describe it to you, but it's ghastly. It's a dead guy whose head's flopping around. She's holding up his head. She's not. I mean, it's just so obvious that he's dead. I can't believe someone would attempt to do this. The internet keeps teaching us how terrible and stupid people can be, and yet, every episode it gets crazier. Weird AF News. It says, shortly after entering the bank with her dead uncle, Erica was arrested and charged with violating a corpse and attempting theft through fraud. We have here an investigating officer named Fabio. Yes, Fabio is an investigating officer in Rio de Janeiro. Of course his name is Fabio. He's probably gorgeous, got a six-pack. Fabio says, she knew he was dead. He had been dead for at least 2 hours. I have never come across a story like this in 22 years as a police officer. It says here, this video of the macabre bank heist attempt has gone viral. And in the video, signs of how insane this woman are. She's obviously holding the man up, but she's talking to him, asking him what's up with him, why he isn't signing the loan papers. She says, at one point she says, "Uncle, are you listening? You need to sign the loan. If you don't sign, there's no way, because I can't sign for you." You can hear a bank employee saying, like, he doesn't look well. His color doesn't look... And she just goes, "Oh yeah, he's like that." And he doesn't say anything. "Uncle, do you want to go to the hospital again?" And then she goes, "Sign the paper so you don't give me any more headaches. I can't take it anymore." She's talking. Oh, man, it's just levels and levels of insanity. Now, the bank employees immediately called the police. I don't know what you would expect. You tried to just puppeteer a dead man to sign a paper for a loan. You tried to Weekend at Bernie yourself a loan here. police are investigating the circumstances of the elderly man's death, including whether the woman is in fact his niece and whether other individuals may have participated in the attempted fraud. It says here she's got a lawyer, this woman, Erica, who's saying that the man was alive when he arrived at the bank. What? This is your argument? No, he was alive when he entered the bank, so the loan stands. No. Even if you are alive when you entered the bank, there's a procedure to acquire a loan. Just because you're under the roof of the bank doesn't even mean you get approved for a loan. You know how many people enter the bank, sit down with someone, and then it's determined that they don't get a loan? Because he was alive when he arrived at the bank. Wow, lawyers, man. Lawyers. All of them are in hell, I think, right? I think all lawyers go to hell. They have to. How could they not go to hell, lawyers? Dumb. Everybody dumb in this story? I think everybody's dumb in this story. Even some of the bankers, like in the video, you could hear them. They're like still questioning it. Like it goes on and on for way too long. I'm like, it's clear immediately that this guy's dead. No, he's resting. He's not resting. He's passed on. He's ceased to be. This is an expatriate. Nah. In the U.S., you cannot get a loan if you're a dead guy, but I believe you can still vote. So that's the thing we get going on over here. Yay! Hello, my people and my loyal listeners. You're all my people and my loyal listeners, I think, right? Anyone not a loyal listener here? If you're not, just consider it. Just try it. I mean, maybe just be loyal for a few days if you want. I mean, it's a very low commitment, really. It's free. The podcast is offered on all podcast players for free, even YouTube. So subscribe, give it a chance, or just listen for a few days before you commit to subscribing. I know it's a big commitment. There's a gazillion podcasts out there that are vying for your attention. So just check it out anyways. If you like weird news 5 days a week, and on Friday I only do weird news from Florida, maybe this is for you. If you could deal with my annoying personality, I think is what this is the barrier to entry. Anyways, having a great time. I was traveling again. What was it, yesterday? So, and it was Jonesy's health was in question. It was a bad day to be traveling. I had to be near a toilet. That's when you're traveling. It's hard to always be near a toilet. Once I got to the airport, it was good, but the journey, oh boy, it was a journey. You had to check out you got to check out of your hotel, right? Like it's like 11, and my flight wasn't until in the evening, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mess, and what am I gonna do for 9-10 hours? So I had to figure it out, but we lived to tell the tale. Anyways, I'm back in the first country that I went to, and I'll be here for a bit before I decide where I'm going next. Got a couple options, so I'll keep you posted about that if you give a damn. It's not really important though. I'll still be doing the podcast wherever I go, so I'll work it out. Anyways, if you guys want to hit me up or follow me on Instagram, see some of my adventures, it's at FunnyJones. My email is funnyjones@gmail.com. I have a phone number here, 646-450-2012. And if you would like to support the show, just go to weirdafnews.com. You can join the Patreon there or buy me a coffee, which I'll probably use to buy beer. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. I love you. Good night. A passenger climbed up into the overhead bin and took a nap on a flight. An angry man assaulted police officers with a block of cheese. And a woman was found living inside a supermarket store sign for a year. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. Let's go. An airline passenger climbed into the overhead bin and took a nap. Brilliant, if you ask me. It's a great place to take a nap. It's dark. It's quiet. There's some legroom, if you can get it. It says here, passengers will do anything to get a decent sleep on a flight, but this seems very extreme and very dangerous. Yeah, I still don't blame the person. It's hard to sleep on a plane. I was on like 10 flights in a matter of 30 days total, and you would think I could figure out how to get comfortable and go to sleep on these flights. I still can't. I even brought one of those neck pillows. Those things are a sham or a scam, whatever you prefer. A passenger on a Southwest Airlines flight in the United States has taken sleeping on Cloud 9 way too literally. This passenger is going viral for climbing into the overhead bin to take a little bit of a snooze. Well, let's find out. Maybe the passenger's name is Samson Ite. I guess if your name is Samson Ite, you kind of belong up there in the bin, don't you? This unusual incident was captured on video and shared on TikTok, where it went viral. It shows the unidentified traveler comfortably stretched out in the overhead locker, appearing as though she's settled in for a long nap. The video was captioned, "Southwest is wildin'," which perfectly captures the surreal moment as fellow passengers and crew members look on in disbelief. Yeah, I would look on in disbelief as well, not because there's someone up in the bin so much as I'm just shocked to learn that there was an empty bin on a flight. I mean, when's the last time you've seen an empty bin? I can't even remember ever seeing an empty bin on any flight that I've ever taken. Oh. Well, I guess this is the fallout of charging everyone $50 to bring on a carry-on. You're going to have some empty bin space for passengers to crawl up and lay down. I'm just wondering how the staff didn't take her down. I mean, you're not really allowed to do what you want on a flight. Although, passengers are trying to do it, but you can't really roam around like you want to. You don't have that kind of freedom just to climb up there. They didn't drag her off. I couldn't even sit down near the bathroom that time. I was totally lightheaded and dehydrated. I thought I was going to pass out while I was walking to the bathroom. And then I was like, whoa. And I sat down on the ground just for a little bit, just to get my mind back. And crew members immediately telling me I can't sit there. So I don't know how you get up there without someone stopping you. Apparently this video went wild. 6 million views, leaving everybody amused and bewildered, and the comments sections filled with confused, curious, and amused people. Someone wondered, how did she get up there? And, hey, she's just chilling out, maxing, relaxing. Very cool. Someone else joked about Southwest Airlines' unique seating policy, saying, well, Southwest does allow you to choose your own seat. Ba-da-ba-ba. Well, as bizarre as it is, this is not the first time flyers have treated the small cabins as a miniature hotel at 30,000 feet. Apparently last year, a man who partied a little too hard in Ibiza slipped in the overhead compartment on a Ryanair flight. And apparently in 2019, a Southwest Airlines flight attendant also made headlines for laying down in the bin on a plane at Nashville International Airport. The reasons behind these peculiar choices of resting places remain a mystery. That's the end of the article. I disagree with the last statement. It does not remain a mystery. It's very obvious why people would like to do that. You need legroom. It's all about legroom. It's all about stretching yourself out. You can't sleep in those chairs in economy. It's hard to sleep sitting up, man. You walk by first class and you see they get to lay down up there. That's like the lay down people. But back in the back of the plane, you can't lay down anywhere. They won't let you on the floor. Like I said, I tried. So why not in a bin above? If no one's using it, get a pillow up there and a blanket. I'm all for it, man. I would love to spend a flight up there. Shoot, I'll sleep underneath the plane in the baggage area. If you give me a sleeping bag and a pillow, I'm in. A man assaulted police officers with a block of cheese. Oh, what a monster this guy is. This story is out of Canada. Police in Newfoundland, did I say that correctly? Newfoundland? It looks like you would pronounce it Newfoundland or Newfoundland, but I think it's Newfoundland. Please call me. They say patrol officers were assaulted by a very angry male who was wielding a block of cheese. Oh, what kind of cheese? A hard cheese? A soft cheese? A smelly cheese? Oh, imagine getting hit with a smelly hard cheese. That would be terrible. In general, though, I wouldn't mind being hit with a block of cheese, though, because cheese is so delicious. I love cheese. So, according to the media, they say that Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, Constabulary? I don't know how to say that word. Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, say the incident occurred when officers responded to a disturbance at a residence. This was at 9 p.m. They say they encountered an angry man who then assaulted the officers with, quote, a block of cheese. Well, a man's gonna do what a man's gonna do, right, guys? Hey! I'd like to know what cheese this was, and did he have Parmesan to carry this block of cheese? Did he have Parmesan to carry it? You can get stabbed with cheese, especially if it's sharp. Police said they arrested the man and charged him with assault assaulting a police officer in the breach of some sort of probation. He's been arrested before. I wondered if it was for a cheese-related incident. He was taken to a lockup facility awaiting a court appearance. It did not say if the officers were injured or what kind of cheese was used. We're never going to know. I want to know what kind of cheese was used. All right, I just Googled what is the hardest cheese in the world. Apparently, it's a cheese called Chirpy. It is considered the world's hardest cheese. It's a traditional protein-rich cheese from the eastern Himalayas that's made by coagulating milk from yaks, cows, buffaloes, or chowries. Not sure what a chowry is. The milk is partially drained to create a hard cheese with a smoky flavor that becomes chewier over time. Chirpy comes in two varieties, hard and soft. The hard variety is brown in color and contains healthy fats, proteins, and essential nutrients. Chirpy is known as the Himalayan, or you might call it Himalayan chewing gum. Wow, now we learned about the world's hardest cheese, guys. Chirpy. Give that a try. Below this, though, it says the hardest cheeses are the Italian Grana varieties and their industrial counterpart, Parmesan. So we have two answers to this question. Here's another question. Why is yak cheese so hard? Apparently yak cheese is the hardest. Oh, they go right into this yak cheese from the Himalayas. For extra hardness, the cheese is smoke-dried for 35 long days. Ooh, can humans eat the yak cheese? They say, yes, you can. Having yak cheese may not be a top priority for everyone. They do recommend eating yak cheese whenever possible for the health benefits it offers. Well, we'll never know the cheese, unfortunately. But we did learn a lot about the hardest cheeses in the world. I hope the officers are okay after getting attacked by the cheese. Is this what vegans mean when they say dairy can be harmful? A woman was found living inside a supermarket store sign on a roof for a year. This is a very peculiar story. Many of you sent this to me. I didn't think it was weird when I first got it because I've just seen homeless people living in the strangest places in my own life. Weirder places than this, too. If you ever spend time in New York City, you'll see people living in bizarre places. Same in Los Angeles. People are living in the weirdest places on little tiny islands in the middle of the LA River. We have here, though, a 34-year-old woman found living in a Michigan supermarket's rooftop sign. Inside her compact living space, she lived for roughly a year, was a miniature desk, some flooring, clothing, food, a printer, a houseplant, even a coffee machine. Contractors working on the roof of a Family Fare supermarket in Midland discovered the woman inhabiting this sign. And apparently some contractors had seen an extension cord leading from one of the rooftop units to this particular sign where the woman had been living, and they discovered her there. The Family Fare sign the woman was living in isn't a normal sign, not like the ones you see on a Target or a Walmart. There's actually a 10 to 15 foot hollow peak at the top of the supermarket's roof where the sign is placed inside, and a 3x4 foot access door behind the sign as well. Definitely large enough for someone to get inside, according to a contractor. Once the contractors found the lady living there, they alerted the supermarket's management, who called the police. When officers went up on the roof to speak to the woman, she came right to the door and basically said, "Don't worry, I'm leaving." Well, that was very cooperative of her. I just assumed she'd start to rattle on about squatters' rights. People are like taking over living spaces, and they're just, you can't get them out. It's happening in many abandoned homes, I've noticed, where squatters are moving in, and then there's paperwork required to get them out, which just seems strange to me. But this is the world we live in. We live in a place where it's hard to afford your own house. It's hard to afford a place to live. This little apartment I'm looking at, it's spacious enough. I mean, in New York City, you could probably charge $3,000 a month for a place like this. My first apartment in New York City was smaller than this, I think. I would describe this situation as an exclusive top-floor penthouse with a 360-degree view, wraparound terrace, walking distance to a grocery store as well, which is nice. The grocery store is underneath you. You're basically living on top of the biggest pantry ever. That's your basement. Officers didn't formally charge this woman, but she was trespassed from the property. The woman, quote, fully understood, and she agreed not to go back, according to the local Midland police. They also provided the woman with some information on available services in the area to help with her housing issue. But according to the police, she didn't want any of those. Yeah, I can't say I blame her. I mean, it's tough stuff. It's homeless shelters are options, but, they can be dangerous places, especially for a single woman, I'd imagine. I'm sure there's some other supermarket signs that are available right now, some vacancies. Just get on Craigslist. I'm sure you can find one. The woman vacated the supermarket's sign the same day, but she had to leave some of her property behind, it says, because she couldn't take all of it with her. The store connected with the woman is helping her move her remaining belongings, apparently. We have a quote here from the Family Fare Supermarkets chain. "We are proud of our associates for responding to the situation with the utmost compassion and professionalism. Ensuring there is ample, safe, affordable housing continues to be a widespread issue nationwide that our community needs to partner in solving." It says here, a day after the incident, Family Fare made a $10,000 donation to Midland's Open Door Crisis Shelters and Soup Kitchen. So this grocery store gets it. They want to contribute. They want to help out the problem. It says here, the public has dubbed this woman, quote, the rooftop ninja. That's a pretty cool moniker. They call her the rooftop ninja due to her living in the sign and being able to evade detection for about a year. Yeah, that's a long time to go without anybody seeing you. According to the spokesperson for the supermarket, though, they say people would see her from time to time, and then all of a sudden she would vanish. No one really knew where she went, but no one ever indicated or thought she would be up on top of the roof of all places. It says here the police do not know exactly how the woman got up on the roof so often, and she didn't exactly explain to them how she did it. Well, obviously there's some sort of a ladder or something to get up on the roof. This is something the supermarket should address. People shouldn't be allowed to just get up on your roof. That's not okay. This whole story is just a symptom of the situation in the U.S., and not just the U.S., but all around the world, it would seem. Cultures where economics have decided that basic human needs are, in fact, a luxury. And when you get a situation like that, people have no choice but to innovate. Like this brilliant woman. I hope she finds a place to live, and I hope she's okay. We won't forget you, Rooftop Ninja. You're an inspiration to us all. Yay! Sign, I'm living with a sign. I got coffee and a TV inside of my sign. Living life like this inside a sign. We should dedicate a song to her. I also want to give thanks and praise. This is the outro where I give thanks and praise. Someone wrote me a lovely 5-star review on Amazon. Give it up for Daisy Girl 67. She wrote, relax and enjoy the laughs. People, relax and enjoy the laughs. In today's world, we don't get many laughs with the world being so crappy these days. This man is really very funny. Give him a chance in your mornings and you will see it's funny stuff. Keep up your awesome work. You make my day much better. Peace and love and lots of laughs to all. Isn't that a sweet, lovely review by Daisy Girl 67? I appreciate you, Daisy. I don't know where you are, but you're amazing. That was really sweet. As you guys know, I get some bad reviews, and I read those too. And then I always love to have you guys follow them up with some good reviews so we can offset the bad reviews. I mean, my ranking here is E. I got 3.6 out of 5 stars on Amazon. How? I don't even have 4 stars. How? Anyways, thank you so much for that, Daisy. Appreciate that. You guys can help out by leaving a review. You can give me stars on Spotify. If you happen to be listening on Spotify, just click on the 5 stars. That's really helpful. They don't give you an option to write anything, so don't worry about that. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing it, is why I bring it up. Just click the stars. Takes you a second. Literally a second. Okay, so listen, if you guys want to reach out to me, my email is funnyjones@gmail.com. Phone number, if you want to call the show, leave a voicemail, 646-450-2012. My Instagram's at funnyjones. You can also slide into my DMs, introduce yourself, say hello, tell me where you live. You can send me articles as well. I always love to receive links to weird news from the week. Makes my job easier. If you would like to support the show because you just got an inheritance, well, a wonderful thing for you to do is to support Weird AF News with some of your inheritance money. You can do that by going to weirdafnews.com, the official website. You can buy me a coffee or you can join the Patreon. I suggest the Patreon. That's great. But you can buy me a coffee if you just want to do like a one-off donation. And, keep me rolling here. Keep me highly caffeinated inside a closet. Why wouldn't you want to keep me highly caffeinated inside a closet? I'm someone that can handle very tight, cramped spaces. I'm a diminutive man, as they say. I could live in a sign, a 4x5 sign on top of a Walmart or something. I could do it, as the Rooftop Ninja did. I'd probably get caught though, because I couldn't help but like play guitar or something. I'd be making some noise. It's noisy enough recording my podcast up there. I think someone would turn me in. An employee takes out the trash and they hear someone screaming, "Good luck with your life, man." They're like, what? Every day I come out here, I hear someone say, "Good luck with your life, man." Where's that coming from? Such a bizarre thing to hear behind the building. Anyways, thanks for spending some time with me. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. And good luck with your life, man. Botswana threatens to send 20,000 elephants to Germany to make a point. A man was arrested for firing his gun downtown in the celebration of divorcing his wife. And prisoners are suing the state of New York in order to view the upcoming solar eclipse. These are the weird news stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. Yeah, let's do it. Botswana threatens to send 20,000 elephants to Germany. Oh, that's a lot of elephants to threaten to deliver. Does FedEx handle such a delivery? 20,000 elephants. I don't even know anybody had 20,000 elephants. I would like a elephant. Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi. Wow, what a cool name. Mokgweetsi Masisi. That sounds amazing. I just want to say it. Mokgweetsi Masisi. I'm probably totally screwing it up. So anyways, Mokgweetsi Masisi has threatened to send 20,000 African elephants to roam free in Germany. To roam free in Germany. Wow, that's pretty funny. Well, this would be the largest animal to roam free in Germany since the woolly mammoth, I'd imagine. Maybe this is exciting. Germany, do you want 20,000 elephants? Right here, it's free. Apparently, they're free. So this is a dispute between the nations over hunting and conservation. Let me guess, Germany's upset at Botswana because they're controlling the elephant population in some way that displeases the environmentalists. Masisi's comments came in response to Germany's government saying earlier this year that it wants to restrict hunters from importing hunting trophies from Africa into Germany. Botswana is home to roughly 1/3 of the entire world's elephant population. Wow, it sounds like they're being overrun by elephants the way certain places in Thailand are getting overrun by monkeys. Germany now is among the largest importers of hunting trophies in Europe, apparently. German hunters representing a significant amount of the income used to fund sustainable conservation in many African nations. Wow. So the irony there is that German hunters are significantly contributing to the conservation in many African nations, and now you have the country of Germany saying, you know what, no more. Masisi said elephant numbers in his country have exploded as a result of conservation efforts to protect the animals, and that trophy hunting was one of the tools his country used to bring in much-needed revenue, while at the same time keeping elephant populations in check. Yeah, I mean, Botswanans know what to do. They live there. There's a reason why this is going on. Trophy hunting, elephants over there. It's not just mindless killing, I'd imagine. Let's keep reading though and keep learning. Maybe I'm wrong. Trophy hunting of many species is often licensed and necessary. Anyone that gets angry about it, before they pick up a sign or go on Twitter to go all Karen on the situation, they should speak to local reservation officials, find out how things are being done, why things are being done. There's reasons for this. Masisi told the German government that, hey, why don't you guys live with these animals in the way that you're trying to tell us to? This isn't a joke, man. I kind of like this Masisi guy. He's just saying it like it is. Oh, yeah? Okay, you're angry at what we're doing? You live with them. You want 20,000? Sending you 20,000 elephants. I'm still just baffled at the idea of sending 20,000 elephants. Just what sort of fleet of ships would that require to send an army of elephants? It's just wild, man. African countries, it says, have long accused Western governments and organizations of campaigning and forcing policies that, in the name of conservation, curb the ability of these nations with large elephant populations from using effective means, such as culling, to control animal numbers. Botswana previously banned trophy hunting in 2014, but after appeals from local communities who said they needed the revenue from the sport, the ban was lifted in 2019. Okay, so there's also a revenue thing going on here, which, revenue's not always the best end goal, but I'd imagine the controlling of the elephant population's also necessary, as they're saying right here. Botswana has a third of all elephants in the world. Here's some exact statistics. Botswana is home to roughly 130,000 elephants. That's a lot of elephants. I don't even know there was that many in the world. 130,000. Some 6,000 new calves are born every year. Elephants live across an estimated 40% of the country's land. Botswana has even given 8,000 elephants to Angola and Mozambique, an effort to boost international tourism in those nations while also helping to control the number of elephants in Botswana. Of course, animal rights groups argue that hunting is cruel to the animals and should be banned regardless of their numbers. See, that's the problem. Regardless of their numbers, I mean, you have to take these things in context. In some contexts, hunting is necessary. And of course, it'll always be cruel, but in some instances, in some contexts, necessary. Conservation leaders from southern African nations warned last month that they would send 10,000 elephants to take up residence in London's Hyde Park if the UK imposed a ban on the import of safari hunting trophies. So they're just threatening to send packs of elephants all over the place if someone speaks up about it. I mean, other countries should shut the hell up. It's like clean up your own backyard before you knock on your neighbor's door, all right? Now, our man Masisi says the overpopulation of elephants increases conflict with local human populations, obviously, as the animals can destroy crops and even trample and kill people. Local communities across southern Africa have often found themselves in conflict with elephants, which they look on as, quote, pests. Yeah, clearly there's a situation over there that we don't understand because we don't live there. We would have to visit the place to actually experience it. I ask these activists, these environmental activists in places like Germany and other Western countries, have you been to Botswana and spent a week? Have you been to any of these Southern African places? I highly doubt it. They always want to impose their own values on other cultures and other environments, places that are completely different from their own environment. And you just can't do that. That's not how it works. I mean, you can attempt to do that, but you create more problems than you intend on solving in most of these situations. So, and now you have a situation where it's like, I'm going to send you some elephants, Germany, 20,000. If Germany doesn't want these elephants, how about we take some in California? That'd be pretty cool, right? It's better than pigeons. I want my elephant army. I want a whole army of elephants like Hannibal. Remember Hannibal? He had like an army of elephants, rode elephants all over the land. I'll invade Canada and take their health care. What do you think of that? Riding my elephants into Canada. Yes, give me your health care. That's stupid. A man is arrested for firing his gun in downtown Nashville to celebrate divorcing his wife. Well, looks like she dodged a bullet. This guy's firing his gun in downtown to celebrate divorcing his wife. I can hear his ex-wife laughing now. I'm going to guess she didn't contest the divorce because he sounds like a maniac. The article says, maybe just get some drinks with the boys next time, eh? A man who was celebrating his newfound freedom quickly lost it right away when he found himself behind bars after blasting off his gun in downtown Nashville yesterday. According to the Nashville Police Department, the police received a call at 6 a.m. 6 a.m.? Wow. I guess they got the court procedure over really early in the morning. So they got a call at 6 a.m. for gunshots near the intersection of Commerce Street. And just a block away from Ryman Auditorium and the honky tonks of Lower Broadway. No, he probably just came out of the honky tonks from a night previously of celebrating and then just started shooting up into the air. Did he scream yeehaw? I'd love to know if he screamed yeehaw. It's the obligatory yeehaw that you have to scream when you're shooting your gun off in a downtown atmosphere in celebration. When the police got to the scene, they found 26-year-old Craig Jose Miller, also known as Juan Jose Vasquez. Let me get this straight. Craig Jose Miller is also known as Juan Jose Vasquez. This guy sounds shady just from the names. How do you? I go by Craig Jose Miller, or sometimes Juan Jose Vasquez. It depends on whether or not I'm in court. Maybe this is one of the reasons why the wife is getting rid of him. He had a second name and a second family. Anyways, this 26-year-old guy was sitting at the intersection. Police questioned him about the gunshots. He initially denied. However, there was a witness, as there tends to be in a downtown atmosphere. A delivery driver told the police they heard 2 gunshots, and they saw Miller, also known as Vasquez, waving a gun around. Police also reportedly found a gun in a nearby parking lot. After going back to question the man again, Miller told officers that he had a gun, but it wasn't on him. No, it was in the parking lot that they found it in because he threw it into the bushes. It says at this point, police stopped messing around. They took him into custody for reckless endangerment, and Miller Vasquez finally admitted that he had fired the gun off, and also his reasoning for the gunshots. He was celebrating his recent divorce, just celebrating his freedom, although it turned out to be short-lived. Things got even worse when officers reportedly found a THC pen on Miller. Oh, no, he was hitting the vape pen. And that's part of the celebration. Why not have a little THC as celebration? I would just do the THC and avoid the gun blasting altogether. It says here, Miller Vasquez's friend told police that Miller had bomb-making material inside his backpack. Bomb-making material? They sort of buried that detail deep into the story. Sounds like that should have been up top. Guy was about to build a bomb to celebrate his recent divorce. It sounds like. Wow, how hard was this guy planning on celebrating? You know, I just go to the bar with my buddies. Maybe go to karaoke. Yeah, I don't go to downtown with my gun and a bomb. I don't have any of those things anyways. I mean, perhaps I'm ill-prepared to celebrate a divorce in places such as Nashville. Also says here, while he was being taken into custody, Miller Vasquez allegedly kicked an officer in the stomach and threatened to kill him. Okay. This guy's total divorce material. Can you wrap your head around the fact that his wife might have wanted a separation here? Miller was ultimately hit with more than a dozen charges, including reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, motor vehicle burglary, theft of a firearm, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, assault on an officer. This is unbelievable. Well, I mean, divorces can get messy and can drag out for a long time. Maybe this is an appropriate way to celebrate. This guy was like, finally, that Arlene can't stop me from having my fun. Pew, pew, pew. It was either celebratory or it dawned on him that he's not going to have anybody to do his laundry or cook his meals or put up with him on the weekends. That might have just angered him. You know, the loss of a wife can be devastating. Well, now, this guy Miller Vasquez is going to get a prison wife, that's for sure. Let's see how he handles that. Yay! Prisoners are suing in order to watch the solar eclipse. Inmates in New York are apparently suing the state of New York Corrections Department over the decision to lock down all the prisoners during next Monday's total solar eclipse. The lawsuit was filed Friday in federal court in upstate New York, and it argues that the April 8th lockdown violates inmates' constitutional rights to practice their faiths by preventing them from taking part in a religiously significant event. Well, I didn't know the solar eclipse was a religious event. I better get down to my solar eclipse church and celebrate on April 8th. What are you guys doing on April 8th? Are you going to put on your solar eclipse robe and get down to the church? These plaintiffs are 6 men with varying religious backgrounds who are incarcerated at the Woodbourne Correctional Facility in Woodbourne, New York. They include a Baptist, a Muslim, a Seventh-day Adventist, and 2 practitioners of Santeria, as well as an atheist. An atheist? Hold on, atheist. Taking part in a religiously significant event? Nice try, atheist. We know what you're about. Practitioners of Santeria. I'm very curious about that. Maybe I don't know much about Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball. I had $1 million, but I spent it all. If I can't find that Hannah and that Sancho that she found, I'll pop a cap in Sancho and I'd slap her. You guys know the song I'm referencing here? A little Sublime action. Oh, how much do I love Sublime. Rest in peace, Bradley. Okay, we have a quote here from the complaint, the criminal complaint. I don't even know prisoners could just sue for such things. It would seem to me that by the time this lawsuit gets through, the solar eclipse will have passed, although maybe it'll be ready for the next one. I think the last one was 2017, correct? A solar eclipse is a rare natural phenomenon with great religious significance to many, according to the complaint, noting that certain Bible passages describe an eclipse-like phenomenon during Jesus' crucifixion, while sacred Islamic works describe a similar event when the Prophet Muhammad's son died. This celestial event, the complaint continues to read, which was last visible in the U.S. in 2017 and won't be seen in the country again until 2044, warrants a gathering, a celebration, a worship, and a prayer. The lawsuit states that one of the named plaintiffs, an atheist, received special permission last month to view the eclipse using glasses that would be provided by the state, but that was before the system-wide lockdown of the prison was issued. We have here a representative from the Corrections Department named Tom, who said the agency doesn't comment on pending litigations, but takes all requests for religious accommodations under consideration. He said those related to viewing the eclipse are currently under review. And conveniently, the review will probably last longer than April 8th, so all of this will be thrown out, I'd imagine. But maybe get the ball rolling for 2044, which is the next one, apparently. You know, I, for one, don't have a problem with the prisoners watching the solar eclipse. What harm is that? If you can somehow guarantee that none of them will be injured by viewing it, that's the problem. And I'd imagine that's what this is all about, is it's avoiding lawsuits, because there's really no way to prevent someone from viewing the eclipse in an unsafe manner if they choose to do so, which is why oftentimes schools won't allow the kids out into the yard to look at these things, because they can't guarantee that the children aren't going to harm themselves in the way in which they perceive the eclipse, because you can, you know, view it in a wrong way. There's a right way. There's a right and a wrong way to view an eclipse. The article ends with an explanation about the total eclipse being seen in the New York area. It will be 3:15 p.m. on that day, April 8th, and it will last a few minutes as the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, temporarily blocking the sun and turning day into night. Communities in western and northern reaches of the state of New York are expected to have the best viewing of the total eclipse, including Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Lake Placid, and a place called Plattsburgh. Do you guys like Plattsburgh? I live in Plattsburgh. I'm going to watch the total eclipse in Plattsburgh with my special glasses. Hi, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for bearing with me. This episode is coming in at a weird time. I don't even know when you're going to get it. I'm in a completely different time zone. Way, way ahead of you, that's for sure. It's like the next day, that's all I'm going to say. And I missed a day as well, so I apologize. But I warned you a couple days ago that I would most likely miss an episode. But we're trying to get back on track, and I'll figure out the time zone situation eventually, but I just had to pump out an episode because I know I missed a day. And I want to give thanks to someone who bought me some coffees here. Someone bought me coffees off my website. It looks like it just says someone. So this was an anonymous purchase, I guess. Or maybe there's a clue in the message they wrote. The message says, Jonesy is as important as my AM caffeine intake. Love the guy. Sense of humor on point. My favorite podcast by far. Keep on keeping on, Jonesy. And good luck with your life, man. LOL. Fist bump. Oh, I like the fist bump emoji. Really cool. I don't know who this person is, but they're really cool. And very complimentary. Appreciates my sense of humor. I think my sense of humor is a little weird. It can be very crass at moments and dark and sometimes straight up immature. But, in other words, something for everybody, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I appreciate you saying that this is your favorite podcast. I can't believe it would be anybody's favorite podcast. So if it's one person's favorite podcast, I'm like, oh, I'm blown away by that. Also got a couple nice emails. Want to give a shout out to Lindsay. Lindsay Williford wrote, "Hey, Jonesy, I got one from my home state. She sent me an article. Thank you once more for all you do for all of us in so many ways. You're an amazing soul and an awesome human being. Keep that up. And good luck with your life, man." Lindsay Williford. Keep calm and chive on. Lindsay Williford is very sweet and lovely, and it was such a nice email. It really made me smile. So thank you so much, Lindsay. Sorry, I'm about to burp. Then we got an email from Brittany Elder. She says, "Greetings, Jonesy. I've been a fan of the podcast ever since I found out about it while setting up my Amazon Alexa flash briefing routine. After I listen to an episode or two, I usually tell these stories to my family members, and we all get a great laugh. Your show really helps my anxiety and my OCD issues. By the way, OCD is way more than just needing perfection and things to be orderly. It really helps me calm down from all the stuff that comes with that." And then she goes on to say she lives near Pittsburgh, and she was giving me some information about Pittsburgh because I was talking about Pittsburgh. Anyways, sincerely, Brittany Elder, Pennsylvania. So shout out to Brittany in PA. I really love that email too. Super sweet. And I'm so happy that I'm able to help you with your anxiety and your OCD. Never in a million years did I think I would be able to help anybody's anxiety and OCD with this ridiculous podcast that I do, usually in a closet. So I'm constantly impressed and blown away by the response that I'm getting out there. And I really thank you all for your support and your emails. It makes me smile, and it makes me keep doing what I'm doing. So it makes me even do it when I'm traveling. See, I would rather just be vacationing, but I can't not do it. I got to deliver the news, guys. I got to do it. Anyways, you're probably wondering, where is Jonesy? And I'm going to give out some hints over the next few episodes, and we'll see if anyone can guess where I'm currently at. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in a place now where people smile a lot. That'll be the first clue. And, I came from a place where people don't smile very much, Los Angeles, because everybody's so stressed about the rent and the traffic. And now I'm in a place where it seems like everybody's smiling. So people are happy here. So consequently, I'm feeling happy as well. It's a very noisy place, too. I don't know if you can hear it outside my window, but there's all kinds of, there's just some action going on. So you might hear some extracurricular activities in the background here. I apologize. I'm not in the worst environment. There's not a perfect place to record in this particular place I'm staying. There's not even a closet, really, so I couldn't set up post in a closet like I usually do when I'm in hotel rooms. And I've actually posted a lot of photos of some of my makeshift sound studios that I've created in various hotel closets on the Patreon. So you guys should join the Patreon. I put stuff in there all the time. It's patreon.com/weirdafnews. Or you can go to my website, weirdafnews.com, and click on the Patreon banner. And there's also a place to buy coffee on there, which is where my anonymous fan just sent me coffee from. Someone named someone. So yeah, go to weirdafnews.com and you can support Jonesy on his travels. I'll get myself a beer on you. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Hear that? See? All right. Good luck with your life, man. An American mayor was asked by citizens if he could somehow stop the oncoming solar eclipse. An island in Italy is giving away all the free goats if you can catch them. And a customer pulls a gun on a Burger King employee for giving him a discount. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian that's traveling the world, baby. That's right. This is your host, Jonesy. Thanks for joining me. I have 3 weird news stories from all around the world, as I usually do on a Monday. For you, for your ears only for you. A mayor was asked if he could cancel the solar eclipse. Let's find out if he was able to stop the solar eclipse. Probably could, but doesn't have the authority, not on that level. Just a mayor. He's like, yeah, I could stop the eclipse, but I don't have the authority. I have to move it up to the state or federal level. Mayor, could you at least reschedule it for next week? Yeah, I'll look into that. Well, my staff is working on it. The problem with that is the moon. The moon is an issue. It's been scientifically proven that the moon is the reason why we have this eclipse. Perhaps we could blow up the moon, but I'll get back to you on that. I don't know if we have a moon blow up budget. With the so-called Great North American Eclipse, is that what they're calling it? The Great North American Eclipse? Not to be confused with the Lesser North American Eclipse, the Minor North American Eclipse, the crappy, trashy Great North American Eclipse, which happens in states like Florida and Alabama. So we have here the so-called Great North American Eclipse. It's today, guys. Many people were gearing up for this rare astronomical event. The last one was in 2017, in case you were wondering. It did cause some confusion, and it annoyed people. There was a little chaos involved, so I can understand why a city would want to cancel the eclipse, but I don't know if the city understands how these things work. Now, let's bring in a state. And it's Michigan, not known for being stupid, but you can't put it past any of the 50 states. It says there's just one incorporated Michigan city within the path of totality of this eclipse, and that's Luna Pier. Now, the chief of police of this small city of 1,300 people says generally there's only one patrol officer during a weekday, but they've had to step it up, and they've scheduled 7 officers. This compact town could very well get overrun during the event, which led to residents' concerns. And a quote from the mayor of Luna Pier, who said, "I've been told that I need to stop this eclipse, and I do not have the authority to do that. So yes, people are really concerned, but what can we do? We're just trying to prepare them for what's coming." Well, come on, Mayor. I mean, can't you just reach out to Superman and have him twist the earth the other direction or something? I bet you if you got the Powerpuff Girls on the line, they could do something about this. They're pretty powerful. Now, I can't help but wonder, did someone really tell the mayor to stop the eclipse? Or is the mayor just jesting? It sounds to me like we just have a wacky mayor on our hands who's just trying to be funny. And I like a good wacky mayor. You can let your mayors be wacky. They don't have that much responsibility. They're just the mayor, after all. So I guess for the community, what's next? They're going to have to organize a march to bring awareness to this eclipse. Maybe on a major roadway, block some traffic, have some signs made. Just bringing awareness to the eclipse and the need to stop it in time. But then, of course, you're going to have a counter movement. The counter movement's probably going to move in, probably call themselves All Eclipses Matter. All eclipses matter. I'm just creating this fantasy in my head here. Hey, let's tell these people in this town, hey, look you guys, you don't have to look up. You don't. You could even take a nap, I suppose. An Italian island is offering free goats to anyone who can catch them. We have here a very tiny remote island called Alacudi. It is home to around 100 residents, very small. It also has 100 wild goats. Apparently this is a problem. The ratio of humans to goats has become very much unbalanced, they're saying. The island has been overrun by 6 times its desired number of goat inhabitants and has more of the animals per capita than anywhere else that counts such statistics. We have here the mayor of this goat town named Riccardo Gullo. He sounds like he drinks a lot of red wine. He's probably one of these wacky red wine drinking mayors. Hey, we got a lot of goats. Hey, they asked me to stop the eclipse, but I cannot. I'm too busy riding my goats. Riccardo is calling on anybody who wants to come help solve the goat issue because they got too many goats. 1 goat for every person. It's too many goats. But I like the idea. Everybody get a goat. You're born on the island of Alacudi. Here you are. Here's your goat. I think I just did a sheep sound. What does a goat sound like? I don't know. I've never had a goat. They do goat yoga? That's weird. You lay on the ground and a goat steps on you. People pay a lot of money for this ridiculous fantasy sport. I don't even know. There's a goat walking on you. People are so stupid. I'm going to pay for a goat to walk on my back. Oh my God, it totally got my knots out. It was like $1,200, but totally worth it. Yeah. Please pay for an elephant to walk on your back next, lady. I'd appreciate that. We need less of you around. All right, back to our red wine out of a jug drinking mayor, Gulo. Gulo! He said that he doesn't care whether you know anything about raising goats. As long as you have a boat, you can come and get them off the damn island once you've caught them, but you have to catch them first, apparently. This guy wants the goats off his island. You can just come and take the goats. He's offering a goat army starter pack, guys, free. I suggest we take advantage of it. I think I found my retirement plan. I'm going to be an Italian goat wrangler. I would love that. I just want to eat pizza and drink wine all day and chase goats. Now, Mayor Gulo said the, quote, adopt a goat program was created because the local authority will not cull the animals, which have encroached on residential areas, invaded homes, munched on whatever they can find in public parks, private gardens, and hedges. And the goats have even tried to climb stone walls that usually give way under their weight. In short, they're not really the greatest to have around the island. According to the Sicilian regional government, I got relatives from Sicily. I mean, my roots are from Sicily, and then in addition to Sicily, some sort of mountain town near Naples, I believe. But a seaside town near Sicily is where part of my family's from. Yeah, maybe I should let them know about the goats. They can go grab a few for me. According to the Sicilian regional government, the goats were introduced to the island 20 years ago by a farmer who then set them free. Oh, go, you're free. Go, I set the goats free. Go, you're free. Be free. Run. Go, Dasher. Go, Prancer and Dancer. For years, these animals, which are not owned by really anyone, grazed autonomously on the sides of Al Qudi's cliffs and are featured in almost any postcard from this volcanic island. Sounds like the goats are adding to your local vibe to me. But there's a dark side to the goats on the island. They've been left to their own devices. They've reproduced at an astonishing rate. They're just procreating everywhere. What else is there to do on this volcanic island that only has 100 humans? There's not a lot going on over there. Probably just like sitting around eating olives and drinking red wine out of a jug. Anyone interested in taking up to 50 goats, the mayor says, can make an official request with the community by April 10th. Okay, so we got a couple days to get our goat order in, guys. Let's get our goat orders in. I claim 5. The mayor said he added that he would extend the deadline until all the goats were adopted. Doesn't he want to keep like a few goats? Keep like 20 at least. Yeah, goats are good. They sort of trim the lawn. You know, you don't need a lawnmower if you got goats. They get rid of little, I don't know, ferns and shrubberies that can, eventually in the middle of summer catch fire. This is what goes. People bring goats in to make the place like less susceptible to fire in the hot months. Is that true? I didn't just make that up, did I? I feel as though I've read that somewhere. Okay, so there's an application involved. You must email your request to the local authority. I wonder if Gulo is going to read each one while he sips his jug of wine. You have to pay around $17 of a stamp fee to make it official. I think Gulo's just trying to raise some money here. Here's a quote from Gulo. We have heard from dozens of people since we first announced the goats, including apparently a farmer from the nearby island of Volcano. Ooh, they named their island Volcano? It seems like a strange name for an island. Volcano. It's like naming the ocean. Anyways, this farmer produces some goat cheese. Oh, this would be perfect for the farmer over in Volcano who produces goat cheese. Here's another quote from the mayor. Ideally, we would like to see people try to domesticate the animals rather than eat them. We don't want you to eat them. Come on, don't take the goats and eat them. But Mayor Gulo, maybe I want to open up a goat burger stand. You don't know what I'm all about. Maybe I want some goat kebabs or goat salad. No, I agree with the mayor. Just don't eat the goats. I'm sure, though, if you offered to take all the goats off his hands and you told him you were going to make a goat stew, he'd be more than happy. He just wants the goats out of there. The mayor added, however, the authorities will not be doing any due diligence on any goat adopters' intentions. So, I mean, it's really, he doesn't care. Once the goats have been adopted, the goat taker has 15 days to catch and remove them from the island. You have to catch them. That's going to be the biggest challenge. I mean, anyone can fill out the application, but catching the goats, and if you can't catch them in 15 days, what do you bring a tent just in a giant cage and just kind of hang out on the island? You got 2 weeks to catch all the goats. This sounds like a great reality competition show. Catch all the goats. While the giveaway will continue until the native herd of goats is greatly reduced, a few will be left to pose for the tourists. Alacuti is the least inhabited of the 7 Aeolian islands. Oh, I love Aioli. This is a chain of islands off Sicily's northern coast that includes places such as Stromboli and Lipari. Yeah. Does everything have to end in E and I-E? Goats aside, the island is also known for its local LSD bread. LSD bread? Now we're talking. You should have the LSD bread before you wrangle up your goats. It'll probably help you catch them. LSD bread, which was outlawed in the 50s. I'll bet you they're calling this LSD bread, but I bet you I know exactly what this is. It's bread made with ergot. Ergot is a hallucinogenic. Is it a bacteria or fungus? It's a hallucinogenic fungus, I believe, that grows on wheat and whatnot. It is the basis of LSD. It's what LSD was synthesized from originally by that Swiss genius. You guys know he went on that bike ride, the very famous bike ride. What the hell was his name? Mr. Albert Hoffman was his name. Very famous. Okay, so I clicked on the link that it had in here for LSD bread, and there's a separate article called Alcuti, Italy's LSD island. Oh, there's going to have to be a deep dive here. I'll probably put this in the Patreon. I'm going to go in deep and find out about this acid bread. This story's way too long already. I'm about to hit 9 minutes, so I'm not going to keep going with the LSD bread nor the goat story. We have to stop. I'll post a link if you want to adopt some. I called dibs on 5 of them. Yay! A customer pulls a gun on a Burger King employee for giving him a discount. Oh, you trying to save me money? Not today, mofo. Who gets mad about saving money? You gonna take this extra money from me or take a bullet? I guess he just wanted to have it his way. I want to pay full price or I'll kill you. This story's out of Ohio. Wow. So, thankfully, we have so many guns in America. Isn't it great? Let's see how it's working out so well. A Burger King customer in Ohio was caught on camera pointing a gun at a drive-thru employee who was just trying to give him a discount. The police in Willowick are still searching for the disgruntled customer. The incident happened over the weekend at the Burger King on Vine Street. You guys know the spot. That's the place that has the discount, but not everybody liked the discount. One time I was offered discount food, and I threw it in the trash. What do I look like, a charity case? We have some surveillance video of these shenanigans, which feature the suspect getting out of his car and pointing a gun at 38-year-old Howard Vernon, who was working in the drive-thru. Guys, Howard Vernon was working the drive-thru. 38-year-old Howard, just trying to put it together, trying to do good in the world, keep his nose clean, support his lifestyle. 38-year-old Howard Vernon working the drive-thru, giving discounts to customers like an angel. Howard Vernon. Howard Vernon said he was taking the customer's order. 2 sausage, egg and cheese croissants, a sausage biscuit, and hash browns. The order came to around $8. According to Howard Vernon, the suspect said, "My order can't be right. It should be $11. Well, guys, math can be hard, as you know, especially for Americans. Public school's not very good. They don't get us prepared with the math. Anyways, lovely Howard is trying to explain to him that they had a promotion going on at the Burger King and it's cheaper. And according to Howard, the customer started cussing and getting very loud. Howard said, quote, "I don't know what to tell you, sir. I don't know why you would like to pay more money." Wait, I'm going to pay full price or you're going to die. What the heck? Oh, my goodness. Howard said after the argument, the customer sped off, but a minute later, he pulled back around to the drive-thru window. Oh, he had regrets. He's like, you know what? I didn't handle that correctly. I just drove off. How do I do this in a more American way? Let me see. I got my trusty gun on me. Of course, we all do. And I'm a good guy with the gun, so I'm going to go back around the drive-thru and point it at Howard's face. Oh, guys, anyone want to move here? Okay. He pulled back around to the drive-thru, and as Howard was helping another customer, probably given a lovely discount, that customer appreciated it. Was like, thank you, Howard. Thank you for the discount. I didn't know there was a promotion going on. I'm so pleased, Howard. I'll see you tomorrow, you angel, you Burger King drive-thru angel, Howard. 38 years old, working the drive-thru. So anyways, the suspect pulled out a gun at the drive-thru the second time. Howard said the man threatened to kill him, called him a racial slur, of course, because a lot of the Americans that are are carrying concealed carry, they like to have racial slurs spout out of their mouths for some reason. Isn't that great? The guys with the guns on them all the time also have this condition called xenophobia. It's a nice combination, guys. Go get your guns, man. Go have as many as you want, man. You can keep them on you. You can put them in your fanny pack. Come on. Go out there. Go out there among the brown people now. Do good. America. Howard said the suspect threatened to kill him. They don't have this guy's name, apparently, the suspect. He must be on the loose. Howard says, to know that somebody would do something like that just because I'm trying to give you a better deal and just to flip out like that, yes, it's very, very scary. Howard has not been back to work at Burger King since the incident, but said he plans to return. Here's a quote from Howard. At the end of the day, it was about some bread and sausage sandwiches at 9 o'clock in the morning on Easter. It was Easter! It was all on Easter! Howard continues, and you're that mad that you put a gun in somebody's face? I don't know why people are so angry out here at 9 o'clock in the morning. I really don't get it. I agree with you, Howard. People out there at 9 o'clock in the morning on Easter, of all times, pulling guns. Even on the highway. I'll get on the highway at like 8 a.m. and people are driving so aggressively. I'm like, guys, what are we doing? It's 8 a.m. My eyelids have only been in the up position for 45 minutes. How is everybody just angrily weaving and driving so fast on my ass at 8 a.m.? Apparently people are pulling guns at 8 a.m. It's unbelievable. There's a video here there's a video of Howard. I want to see what he looks like. Howard's a very sweet guy, and he among other things, he shared with the news that he has 10 children. This is really a lot of kids, man. Howard, how is Howard supporting 10 kids working the drive-thru at Burger King? This guy's a genius somehow. So the customer, bad at math. Howard, very good at math. Somehow is making economics work for him to support 10 kids. That's just unbelievable, man. Although he could be lying about the number of kids because someone had just pulled a gun on him. If someone pulls a gun on me, I mean, I have 0 kids, but if you point a gun in my face, all of a sudden, I'm going to have 9 kids. Please, I have 9 kids and 4 dogs and 11 cats, and I have a ferret and a fruit bat named Carol. You can't kill me, bro. Well, I think the best part about this story is that Howard is okay, A-okay, good guy in the community, trying to give people lovely discounts on their heart attack-inducing biscuits. But I mean, the 10 kids, Howard. I mean, we have to have a chat about this. I think Whoppers aren't the only thing that this dude needs to wrap up. Hey. Thank you, my friends, for spending some time with the Weird AF News podcast, the only daily weird news podcast in the world. I'm very, very proud to continue this tradition of putting out the weird news 5 days a week, even when I am traveling in other places, faraway places where I don't have my typical closet to record in. As you guys know, I record in a closet. Maybe you're new to the show. You didn't know I usually record this inside a closet, but I haven't been able to do that. Nonetheless, we're still pumping them out around here. I got a lovely email from Connie from Georgia, who just wanted to bring it to my attention that April 6th was National New Beers Eve. New Beers Eve. I've never heard of such a day. It's like, is it, this is different than National Beer Day? I assume there's a beer day as well. We just have all these dumb days now. They're really silly. How do you take them seriously at this point? They're just kind of ridiculous. It's like, did you eat marshmallows today? What, marshmallows? Yeah, it's National Marshmallow Day. Oh, I didn't know it was National Marshmallow Day. Yes, and tomorrow's National Raisin Day. And then the next day is National High Five Day, where you high five somebody. And then the day after that is Shoelace Day, National Shoelace Day. Yeah, so maybe get some colorful shoelaces and put them on your footwear. So ridiculous. I drank beer, though, on National New Beer's Eve. I've had a beer every day that I've been here, because it's extremely hot and I need cold beverages. I like cold beverage, yeah. I like cold beverage, yeah. And it's good to drink a cold beer. I just get tired of drinking so much water out of bottles that I want cold beer out of glass bottles. Yeah. Just give you another hint what country I'm in. Their most popular beer has I'll tell you this, it has a golden animal on it. That's what I'll say. That's another hint. Golden animal on the beer label. That's the country that Jonesy's at right now. I also got a review. Let's read the review from Julie. I don't think I've read this, but it's so humid and hot here that maybe my brain probably isn't working correctly. You heard this past episode. It was out of control. I'm delusional over here. So we have a review from Julie on Amazon, 5 stars, wrote, "Love Weird AF News." It's very short and sweet, and I just want to give Julie her due credit and tell her how much I appreciate this, Julie. She wrote, Jonesy, I look forward to listening every day. You keep me laughing with the craziness and your antics. The majority of news is depressing out there, and it's good to get a break from that. Keep up the good work. You know, Julie just in basically 2 sentences summed up what this is all about. Yeah, the majority of news is very depressing, and I'm giving you a break from that. So, yeah, I'm happy to do so, Julie. I'm glad that you enjoy it, and I hope that you'll continue to be a loyal listener. And please spread the word. Tell somebody about Weird AF News. That's one of the best things you can do for me. Help spread it. The more people that become exposed to Weird AF News, I think the more people will give it a chance and listen to it and make it a regular part of their news cycle, which is kind of helpful for our mental well-being. Yeah, Weird AF News is like, I never thought I'd say this, but yeah, it's good for your mental well-being. It really is. I mean, we're actually going to hear about goats for free. We can laugh about it. I don't know. Maybe there's other places for this crap. I have no idea, but I think this is the only game in town. Anyways, no one does it like me, so join me. Yes, my children, follow me. If you want to support the show, go to weirdafnews.com. That's the official website. weirdafnews.com. You can buy Jonesy a beer. Why don't you buy me a beer for the beer day? Well, you buy me a coffee, but I'll use it to buy a beer. And for the price of that coffee, you can get maybe 2 beers where I'm at. So that's pretty cool. It would be like you buying me 2 beers. So go to weirdafnews.com and click on the Buy Jonesy a Coffee banner and buy me some beers, because it's hot here and I need cold beers. And I like cold beverage. Yeah, A woman claims the stolen Jeep she's driving was a birthday gift from her former Waffle House customer. The city of Milan is planning on banning ice cream and pizza after midnight. And students were told to perform murder during a puppet show in Texas. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. You got it. A woman claims that the stolen car she's driving was a birthday tip from one of her customers. The story's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I thought it would be Florida, but no, it's Oklahoma. A woman claimed that the vehicle she's accused of stealing was a, quote, birthday tip from a former Waffle House customer. Yeah, because it's just really common for people to give you just a car on your birthday, especially if at one point you waited tables on them. That makes all the sense in the world. Oh, I recognize you from the Waffle House. You waited on me a few times. Aren't you sweet? You want my car for your birthday? Just take the keys. Just take it, lady. Ooh, the photo of her. Ooh, what a rough one. This is a rough one. Oh, drugs are one hell of a drug, boy. I tell you right here. Let her have the car, man. She's clearly earned it. Look at her. Look at the poor woman. Rough life. Give her the car, man. Give her the car. Okay, back to the story. Wow, I'm not going to look at that again. According to the Tulsa Police Department, officers received a tip about a stolen white Jeep Liberty recently, and the officers were able to stop the Jeep and speak with the driver. They identified the driver as Angela Harrison, the lady whose mugshot just scared the daylights out of me. Angela told the police that she was at a gas station an hour earlier where she bumped into a former customer of hers when she used to work at Waffle House. She told the police that man, her former customer from the Waffle House, gave her $10 cash and this Jeep as a gift because, well, her 53rd birthday was coming up in a few weeks. Just such a believable story, right? Well, my birthday's in a few weeks. Who wouldn't give me... What former customer of mine from a Waffle House wouldn't give me a free Jeep for my upcoming birthday in a few weeks? My 53rd birthday. She looks like she's turning 153, by the way. Turns out the Jeep, however, was stolen and reported stolen before Christmas. Detectives also had a photo of Angela Harrison, the scary lady, driving the Jeep from January 14th. They showed it to her. Angela identified herself in the photo, but could not explain why she was driving the Jeep on January 14th after she claimed the vehicle was gifted to her just an hour before at a gas station. I don't understand how I could have been. Yeah, that's me driving the Jeep on January 14th. That's pretty weird because I just got the gift an hour ago from a former customer at the Waffle House. Yeah, so me driving it January 14th, I mean, sure, if you're going to go by time and calendars, then yeah, I suppose it looks kind of suspicious, right? The whole lesson that we learn in this story, it's just a reminder that you can never trust a Waffle House employee, nor a former Waffle House employee. Have you been? They all look like they would kill you in a knife fight in the parking lot. This lady included. Milan is ready to ban ice cream and pizza after midnight. This is a new law they're proposing. After a failed attempt back in 2013, Milan is once again trying to get late-night ice cream eaters off the streets. Get these ice cream eaters off the streets. Oh, they're spilling little sprinkles all over the cobblestones. Can't get these dairy stains out of the streets. Local government's proposing this new law that would come into effect next month. They want the late-night ice cream eaters off the streets. What about these pizza eaters? What's going on? Hey, when you outlaw ice cream and pizza, only outlaws will have ice cream and pizza, and I'll be one of them. So Milan is proposing this new law to ban ice cream after midnight in an effort to protect the tranquility of residents. Oh, they want it to be tranquil, and apparently ice cream just is very uproarious in the area. You bring ice cream around, and next thing you know, it's crazy time. You know how those ice cream eaters get. Just nuts, man. For many, a late-night gelato is a part of Italian culture, it says, but this is in danger under a new law being introduced in the city of Milan. A legislative starting paper has been filed by the city's local government, and if it's passed, it will see late-night ice creams banned as soon as next month. Oh, my goodness, the start of summer, you're going to ban late-night ice cream? How? People like their post-dinner gelato. It's delicious. And on a hot summer night, what's better than a post-dinner gelato? Oh, give me that post-din gelato, baby. Raspberry. I like raspberry. And put a little real raspberry on it. It says covering 12 districts, the proposal would ban all takeaway food, including pizza and drink after midnight in an effort to clamp down on noisy groups crowding on the streets of the Italian city, keeping local residents up. What if they're you said takeaway food? They're saying all takeaway food? Is that because they're taking it and then just eating it in the town square? I assume those restaurants are going to be still rowdy after midnight, bars and restaurants. I'm very confused about what they're trying to do here. We have Marco Granelli, the mayor, of course. Marco Granelli. He was born to be mayor. Marco Granelli. Can you imagine being named Marco Granelli and now you're going to be spanning gelato. My goodness, your ancestors are going to be rolling around in their graviolis. Graviolis. I just made that up. You're welcome. Okay, so here's Marco Granelli. I'm going to do an impression of Marco. Yeah, the goal is to seek a balance between the socializing and entertainment and the peace and tranquility of the residents. Yeah, all right, cool. But what about pizza and ice cream, man? It's super important to have pizza and ice cream in your life. This proposal would be effective from mid-May and last until November, so basically all summer. It would kick in at 12:30 a.m. on weekdays and 1:30 a.m. on weekends and public holidays, applying to outdoor tables only in an effort to clear the streets. Well, it's 12:30 and 1:30. I guess, maybe not have ice cream that late. Pizza, though, that's rough stuff. Pizza's meant to be eaten at 1:30 in the morning. Well, if they can't do the whole gelato and the pizza, they'll have to turn to a tiramisu and calzone culture. Hey, how about that? You still have tiramisu and calzone, late night tiramisu calzone. I would make a food truck called Late Night Tiramisu Calzone and just drive it right to the town square. Give everybody what they need. Citizens have until early May to appeal and suggest changes to the law. You guys, please appeal this. This is craziness. The proposal would apply in the following areas. Nolo. Well, look at the names of these places. Oh, let's run through these. These are going to be fun. Here are the places that this is going to go into effect. Nolo, Lazaretto, Melzo, Isola, Sarpi, Via Cesariano, Arco della Pace, Como de Alinti, Porta Garibaldi, Brera, Ticines, and Darsena Navigli. Oh, man. My great-grandmother would be so proud of me. I think I nailed them all. However, this is not the first time Milan has tried to ban ice cream after midnight. They've tried to do this before. We keep trying to ban it after midnight. Back in 2013, the then mayor, Giuliano Pisapia. These names, it's unbelievable. Giuliano Pisapia. He tried to implement similar measures, but after a fierce backlash, he was crucified in this town square, and they slapped him in the face with slices of pizza, and they flicked gelato into his eyeballs. I'm just kidding. He wasn't able to push it forward. There was a reported Occupy Gelato movement. Occupy Gelato. He was reported as having said after backtracking, hey, people can eat ice cream day and night, anywhere they like. Just don't kill me. All right, that's the end of the story. I still can't wrap my head around exactly why they want to ban these two items. I mean, people are going to drink wine in the streets. People are going to just be in the streets in the summertime in Italy, eating and drinking. This is what Italians do. They eat and drink in the streets, on balconies, on patios, outside of restaurants. I mean, this is what you get, whether it's pizza, gelato, or cannoli. It's just going to happen, man. I don't know what taking ice cream out of this situation is. I mean, perhaps they're trying to, maybe they saw the movie Gremlins and they're like, all right, we can't have these creatures eating ice cream after midnight. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to cure everybody's acid reflux. So, I mean, if that's the case, you got to ban the red wine after midnight, too, because that's a real killer in the acid reflux department. Well, if this does go through, I picture a city full of pizza and ice cream speakeasies, or just a bunch of underground Chuck E. Cheese's could be opened, and that would satisfy everybody's cravings. Yay! A school district is investigating after students were allegedly told to perform murder during a puppet show. Goodness, murder during a puppet show. Let's figure out what happened here and if the children are all right. A Texas school district says it is investigating a substitute teacher who allegedly instructed students to act out a murder during a puppet show. Speaking with the media, the Hayes Consolidated Independent School District said the long-term substitute working as a theater arts teacher at the Johnson High School in Buda, outside of Austin, Texas, has now been suspended pending an investigation by the school. Students report that the substitute teacher assigned them to perform a puppet show in which at least one puppet had to be murdered. All right, we need more information here. Was it, were they acting out? Shakespearean plays feature murders. We did a Shakespearean play. There was a murder. I mean, it's just part of theater. People die in theatrical productions. It's common. Doesn't say how old these kids are. Oh, it's a high school, though. This should be, I mean, come on, man. You're doing Shakespeare in high school. It could be a murder. All right, anyways, let's keep reading. It says, additionally, one group of students reports that their performance would have involved a mass shooting, though it was not clear if that was the specific assignment or a scene created to meet the parameters of the assignment. Well, that's a little bizarre if you're assigning the children some theatrical piece involving a mass shooting. I'm not even familiar with one of those. Usually high school plays are like a little more mundane. They're not. This substitute theater teacher though was just trying to keep it real with the kids. You guys want to do Shakespeare, or do you want to keep it real? Do you guys want to do King Lear or the life of Tupac? Vote now. All right, so the school district said if this incident did happen, assigning or allowing this type of performance would be disturbing and unacceptable conduct. The school and the district apologized to the students and their parents for any distress this has caused and pledges to ensure that this does not happen again. All right, well, sounds like the teacher's being dealt with. Probably should get the teacher off the campus before Sandy Hook the musical goes on ticket sales. We don't want that. Says here we have a parent asked to remain anonymous, said her daughter was in the class. She says, I am floored. I am angry. I'm shocked. There's no lesson here. This is not okay. These are kids. It's harmful. The parent added that their daughter was so upset that she called the mom immediately. She called me telling me that their theater teacher was telling them they were going to have to reenact a violent school shooting where they had to actually pretend to die. You don't have students, 16-year-old, 17-year-old students reenact something that they're truly afraid of. What are you doing? Yeah, I second that opinion. Students are truly afraid of such situations now because it's now part of the mainstream when it comes to schools in the U.S. I'm sure, I mean, I don't have any kids in school, but I'd imagine they're now going through drills, shooter drills in schools all over the country. And so now you're going to put on a puppet show about a mass shooting? Are you okay, bro? I mean, substitute teachers, man. What are we doing with this? This is just, don't let anybody substitute teach. Anybody. What do you got? Can you speak? All right, sure. Get up in front of the kids and speak, man. I mean, I've seen the most inept substitute teachers. I remember in school, you're like, wow, this idiot. What are we doing? Now, it says here, allegedly, the teacher told students if they didn't do this assignment, they would get a 0 for the assignment. Well, you'll get a 0. Oh, yeah, I'll take the 0 instead of, acting out your school shooter puppet musical, buddy. One of the students says they did it one time, and the teacher said, well, that wasn't violent enough, and made them do it again. What a psychopath. That wasn't violent enough. More blood. Hold on, let me get my camera out. I'm going to shoot some of this. I'm going to bring this home with me. Wow, sociopath. I hope they got rid of them. And no paid leave, please. No paid leave for sociopaths. We're always giving people paid leaves. Giving sociopaths paid leaves. Here you go, take a paid vacation. I never get a paid vacation. I'm not even a sociopath. The school district says that they're reviewing other potential classroom management concerns regarding this teacher who was hired in January 2024. Here's a quote from one parent. She told me in the past, my daughter, that it's not the first time that this particular substitute teacher has done something like this. There have been other times when he wants to reenact or go through violent situations. It seems to be a thing. This guy... What is going on? This individual wants to cosplay murder in the classroom, just reenact shootings. Okay. All right. How did this person slip through the cracks and get into, never mind. I don't even want to know. I just feel bad for parents. How do you do it, guys? How do you those of you who are planning on having a baby, are you okay upstairs? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yay!
Well, I looked all over the world where there's every type of news. And when I say, well, I'm listening to Weird AF News. Thank you for listening to Weird AF News. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I'll keep the outro brief. Very brief. I want to thank everybody who sent me messages and emails. Appreciate it. You can email me funnyjones@gmail.com. I got a phone number too, 646-450-2012. You can leave me a little voicemail. That's Italian for voicemail. Giovanni Sparuti. Giovanni Spumoni. Wow, they got the coolest names. I wish I had a cool name like that. Rigatoni Balapagos. Anyways, if you guys want to support the show and help me maintain my sanity, go to weirdafnews.com. That's a place you could join the Patreon or buy Jonesy a coffee or a beer. That works out. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Or just tell a friend about Weird AF News. Just tell a friend. Tell a friend. You just tell a friend right now. What are you waiting for? Tell a friend. Come on, do it. You tell a friend right now. Do it. Tell a friend. What's wrong with you? Don't you got friends? Tell them! The Tokyo police arrest a Yakuza leader for stealing Pokemon cards. An Indiana judge has ruled that tacos and burritos are actually sandwiches. And killer whales sink a yacht off Gibraltar. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. I'm your host, Jonesy. Thanks for spending some time with me. I have some strange, weird, funny news from around the world. Let's do it. The Tokyo police arrest Yakuza leader for stealing Pokemon cards. Is this the most Japanese thing you've ever heard in your life? Yakuza leader stealing Pokemon cards. Japan's once mighty Yakuza. I guess they're not so mighty anymore. They were notorious figures in organized crime at one point, but they have fallen on some hard times. Clearly, they're stealing trading cards. Tokyo police recently arrested a very high-ranking member of the Takanagawa gang, part of the country's second largest Yakuza syndicate. What was his crime? Stealing Pokemon cards. I mean, can you even believe this? Well, let's find out how many. Maybe it was billions and billions of dollars worth of Pokemon cards. I think these things are worth quite a bit still. Surprising to me, but... Okay, stealing Pokemon cards, this individual. Well, in his defense, he's probably like, hey, boss, I gotta catch them all. I was just following orders, all right? You gotta catch all the Pokemon. Once you start, you can't stop. Now, if you don't know, Yakuza is the Japanese equivalent of gangsters or mafiosos. They were once a powerful force in organized crime. Their membership peaked in the 1960s at about 200,000. In 2013, U.S. regulators assisted Japan in cracking down on the Yakuza by targeting their finances, and they've dwindled. The numbers have dwindled. There's not too many, and here they are stealing trading cards. I wonder if there's a, you think there's a trading cards crimes division in the Tokyo Police Department? I'll bet you there's an anime crimes division for sure, so careful, boys and girls. Don't download any pirated anime series. The article says, this recent arrest shatters the media stereotype of the Yakuza as terrifying figures known for their full-body tattoos and involvement in loan sharking, extortion, drug dealing, and violence. Well, hold the phone. I'm sure they're involved in all these, and I'm pretty sure they still have tattoos. So, but I'm wondering if they're recruiting children at this point. I mean, the whole Pokemon involvement makes me wonder. They're just bringing in some youngins. Okay, some more information. They have here the Yakuza's leader is 39-year-old Keita Sato. He stole items worth 250,000 yen, which is about $1,300, including 25 Pokemon trading cards. They're attributing the rise in trading card thefts in Japan to several factors, including portability, ease of resale for cash, and difficulty tracking these sorts of stolen goods. It says here, in recent years, the Yakuza have undergone a significant shift, moving away from the violent crimes that they're known for and increasingly turning towards white-collar offenses. This also aligns with a decline in gang membership and overall brutality over the past few decades, they're reporting. Anti-gang laws have crippled the financial viability of the Yakuza. These laws target businesses that associate with gangs and restrict gang members' access to various financial services such as credit cards and pensions, making gang membership these days a less profitable endeavor. It says here, COVID-19 pandemic further strained the Yakuza's finances. Lockdowns and social distancing measures reduced demand for illegal activities such as sex work, gambling, drug trafficking, a key source of income for the Yakuza. Yakuza membership has lost its luster for young generations as well. According to someone named Suzuki, who's a renowned Yakuza expert, in an interview with the media, Suzuki said, they have to sacrifice a lot to lead the life of a gangster, but for increasingly diminishing returns, it seems. Well, look at that. We're learning so much about the Yakuza. It says their average age is exceeding 50, and a growing number of them are pushing into their 70s here. Wow. It makes the whole Pokemon heist even more strange. I picture a bunch of 70-year-old Yakuza just having an argument about these these Pokemon cards. You mean to tell me a single card is worth $200? How? Trust me, my grandson loves these things. We need to go catch them. We need to go catch them all. An Indiana judge has just ruled that tacos and burritos are actually sandwiches. That makes sense because whenever I think of who should be an authority on Mexican food, I think a guy in Indiana. Who else? A judge in Indiana should decide tacos and burritos are sandwiches. Probably is going to tell us that pizza is toast as well. Is lasagna cake? Oh, I can't wait for the ruling. Fort Wayne, Indiana, a judge in Fort Wayne, Indiana, has just ruled that tacos and burritos are sandwiches. How, bro? How are they sandwiches? They're not even close. A torta is a sandwich. Do you not know that the torta exists? A torta is a sandwich. A taco and a burrito are not a sandwich. There's something behind this. Maybe he was bribed by Quiznos. I don't know. Is Quiznos out of business, though? Maybe he was bribed by Taco Bell. All right, apparently this all comes down to some sort of restaurant zoning situation. I read the paragraph, and it's hard to understand. There's a commercial developer named Martin Quintana who's trying to do a zoning change for a strip mall within which is a restaurant. Had to get the neighbors' approval. There's some sort of condominium next door. Now, we also have here the famous Taco Mexican Grill. You guys know the one east of Glenbrook Square Mall in Fort Wayne. The famous Taco Mexican Grill. They wanted to expand into the strip mall, apparently. Quintana made plans for the famous taco, the famous one, the famous Taco Mexican Grill, Glenbrook Square Mall. You guys know the famous one, right? We've all been there. Where the tacos surprisingly appear to be sandwiches. They serve them with a pickle on the side and chips. They made plans for the famous taco to open in the Quintana Plaza strip mall. The neighbors cried foul. They didn't want this. I guess they didn't want the famous Taco Mexican Grill to move in next door. I don't know why you wouldn't want to live next to the famous Taco Mexican Grill. What's wrong with these residents? I would want to live right next to it. I'd be eating there every day. I would eat a burrito